Is due to higher oil prices and extreme heat impacting oil refineries in the U.S. Alex Stone, EBC News.
The AAA says Utah's average price for a gallon of regular gas is $3.96. Other national stories, KSL is following the State Department, keeping close tabs on the 2 kidnapped U.S. citizens in Haiti.
Alex Dorsenil works for an organization that runs a school and ministry in Port-au-Prince. She and her daughter were kidnapped last week at the State Department spokesman Matthew Miller.
We are in regular contact with the Haitian authorities and will continue to work with them and our U.S. government interagency partners. But because it's an ongoing law enforcement investigation, there's not any more detail I can offer.
Miller refuses to say whether the abductors have made any kidnap demands. Tom Rivers, ABC News at the Foreign Desk.
Your money at this moment, the Dow the only one in the green, and we're losing steam here. We're up 20. That's less than a tenth. The S&P is down by 12, 0.3%, and the NASDAQ percentage-wise down about the same. It's off 52 points. Coming up, possible thunderstorms today. We'll check that full forecast next. Does mean cooler air. KSL News Time, 9:02.
This summer, the political season heats up.
By August, it'll be time for debates. Can you believe it?
We're planning coverage of the real issues, the important stories that impact how we live.
Listen each morning from 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Do you know why more homeowners choose Any Hour Services for help when it's time to replace their air conditioners? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the main reasons people choose Any Hour Services is because of our people, processes, and convenience. People tell us all the time that there's just something different about having an Any Hour Services technician in their home. That's why most of our over 18,000 Google reviews mention our technicians by name. Another reason is our 7-step install process that we call the Any Hour Difference. It all starts with the needs analysis, where you explain what you like and dislike about your current system. This helps us design and size a system that fits your comfort and efficiency preferences as well as your home's airflow requirements. As for convenience, most of our installs are completed in one day. We also have flexible, no-money-down financing options available, even if you've been told no in the past. So if you've been thinking about getting a new air conditioner, call Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate today. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Join Mike Stevens of Capital Wealth Advisors for Retire Right Radio, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. That's Retire Right Radio with Mike Stevens, Saturdays at 5 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Now, I have a confession to make. When I saw the roster for this year's productions at Hale Center Theater, they all look great. But the one that jumped off the page for me, it's a family favorite for the right family, and it was Newsies. It is absolutely delightful. But here's the bad news. It is completely sold out. But there's a silver lining. The good news is Hale Center Theater is adding 4 p.m. matinees. Newsies is running through August 26th. If you thought you had missed your chance to see this great, enthusiastic production at Hale Center Theater, now there's still time to get your matinee tickets. And don't forget, too, just around the corner is Catch Me If You Can, Around the World in 80 Days, and just in time for the holiday season, Elf, the musical. It's time to go to hct.org. Lock down your tickets, especially get your tickets for Newsies. That's hct.org, Hale Center Theater.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Andy, I'm pretty sure that car's not supposed to be in the middle of the road there.
Yeah, we've got a westbound 80 crash where vehicles turned sideways, blocking a couple of the center lanes. Right now, it looks like Highway Patrol forcing everybody who wants to continue to I-80 to get over to the far left lane, while those of you who want to exit westbound 80 at State Street will have to get all the way over to the right. They're trying to move. Oh, in fact, they just pushed it sideways.
That's one way to do it, isn't it?
That's how you can do it. So hopefully we'll have some more lanes open here in just a sec. But again, right now, westbound I-80 backed up from just after 13th East all the way over to State. We still have some northbound slowdowns in that on I-15 in that area. Heavy traffic I-15 coming over Point of the Mountain, heading up through Draper. And then up in Davis County, where we've had off and on delays this morning, looks like we're all clear at the moment. Electrical problems? Want to light up your world? Call the electricians with the online guarantee. Call Mr. Sparky at 8888-SPARKY. That's 8888-SPARKY. I'm Andy Farnsworth in the KSL Traffic Center.
I didn't know those incident management trucks had that capability.
Yeah, they got these big bumpers on the front so they can do just that.
Wow. All right, here's the way the weather shapes up. Mostly cloudy. Chance of scattered thunderstorms coming this afternoon and cooler air. 88 tomorrow, 85 Thursday, 88 again on Friday, and we'll look for a high today of 92. Right now it's 79 degrees at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, your all-day companion for news.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I heard Tim talking about gas prices just a moment ago. And I mean, the average price of gas right now, it's inching back toward $4 a gallon. It's exactly how I wanted to start the day with you, Dave. I was talking about gas prices because I just know this just puts you right through the roof. But let me just tell you what I saw on my way in. At one gas station, it was $3.89. And then I looked to my left, right across the street. That gas station, what unleaded, was $4.15 a gallon.
That's an easy left turn. Do not go to the $4.15 a gallon.
Wild?
I appreciate you telling me this because all my cars are on empty right now. So, yeah, you're right. This does send me into orbit. It's 9:07. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
Welcome to August. July just flew by. It's August 1st. Means it's back to school shopping time. It's in full swing. The KSL investigative team put school supply spending to the test. They shopped at different stores and even online to find out where parents can save the most money.
Pencils, erasers, rulers, loose leaf paper, spiral notebooks, 3-ring binders, backpacks, scientific calculators, glue sticks, scissors, and a water bottle.
I don't have kids. I don't have kids in school anymore, public school anymore. So this one, wow. But they're going to tell us, Dave. They're going to break it down by store. Which store gave them the best deal?
Can you explain to me this? Why is it that after 16 years of first days of school, that's what I've been doing, 16 years, I still have not figured out how to budget for this time of the year? School fees, school supplies, I've never saved a penny to pay for these things. It's the worst unexpected cost of my year.
Countdown. 2.
Speaking of schools, at 10 a.m., we're going to talk about the crisis in demographics facing many Utah school districts. Granite School District says it's lost about 8,000 students in the last 10 years. So that's a lot of kids. Salt Lake City School District, of course, they're discussing school closures right now. They're projecting a staggering loss of 2,200 students over a decade. Elementary schools closing on a watch list to be shuttered. Thankfully, the D2 Research Department in full swing today with data that clues us in on which areas of the state, Dave, will suffer the most closures and the biggest loss in demographics of school-age kids. But there's some areas of the state that are going to explode with kiddos.
This is a tough pill to swallow, that the demographics, they change. Your neighborhood changes. Your kids in the neighborhood that was just filled with all these children, they grow up, they move out. You don't move. So, yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow to say, we've got to build new elementary schools that maybe in 15, 20, 30 years, they're going to close because of demographics. It's the price of doing business. But rather than just keeping everything open, you've got to make that tough decision and close them when needed.
Launch countdown. 1.
All eyes on Georgia. That's right. We're going to focus on Georgia right out of the gates this morning. The county district attorney hinting an indictment against former President Trump is going to happen any day now. If you've lost track of the former president's legal troubles, well, no worries. That's why we're here. The Georgia case isn't about top secret documents, though. It is about that recorded phone call President Trump made to Georgia's Secretary of State, who is in charge of elections.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
And all I want is $1 million. Is that too much to ask? Just $1 million. Please, pretty please. Now, the real question is this illegal? Is it illegal to say, hey, I need you to find me
to tamper with an election?
Well, it's one thing to just ask. I mean, it never hurts to ask, right? Or, yeah, is even asking illegal? That's the question.
That's your
Dave
question.
and Dujanovic.
The Launch.
Come in.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top national story.
It's the White House that was recording that phone call, right? I mean, that's who was recording that phone
Deb, I'm
call.
sure 19 interns were, like, everybody's recording that phone call. Come on.
It happened on January 2nd, 2021. But Raffensperger told 60 Minutes he did not know that call was being recorded. So it did not come from his office. But he's the Secretary of State in Georgia. He's the one who Trump asked to find 11,780 votes. And here's what Raffensperger told 60 Minutes about that call.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes.
What was the president asking you to do?
He was asking us to recalibrate or recalculate, I believe it was, somehow get a different answer. But I'm an engineer, and anyone that's good with numbers knows you can calculate all you want, but the numbers are the numbers.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me
It was incredibly close in Georgia. It was. I wonder how many votes he lost by. Was it 11,779? I think I can do the math here. But it was 0.3%. It was an incredibly close election, and he just needed a little help, Deb. Just a little help.
And he wouldn't back down.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
And I think this really is at the heart of it. The data that the president was working off and what the Secretary of State was working off of. If they're working off totally different numbers, then you're having totally different conversations.
There's more to this story, though. And Raffensperger told 60 Minutes that Trump insisted that living voters who are alive, were casting ballots for thousands of dead people. And that didn't turn out to be true either.
The other thing, dead people. So dead people voted. And I think the number is in close to 5,000 people.
The president said in the call that 5,000 Georgians voted in the name of dead people.
Right. Well, it was two. Two dead.
2,000?
No, two. Yeah.
A total of two.
Two people, right here. 1, 2. Two dead people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the question is what will he face in terms of an indictment? I'm going to anticipate that an indictment will happen in Georgia because he tried to meddle with the state elections officials. And in my view, the secret documents case out of Florida, a big deal, absolutely. I am so bothered, though, by what happened in Georgia. And perhaps that's because the phone call was recorded. And perhaps that's because, state elections are not run by the federal government. The federal officials, the president of the United States, should not be meddling with our state elections officials. Stay out of it. By the way, you had a huge conflict of interest. We're going to keep watching this one and let you know when and if it happens.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Hi, it's Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
Why should you start your day with us?
We have decades of news experience between us.
And we take your trust seriously.
Come here for news tomorrow, 5 to 9.
On KSL.
BYU Fall Camp gets underway this week. Join us each day at 7:55 and 5:55 for updates on the practice mashups and the Big 12 season to come. BYU Sports Insider Mitch Harper will be live with the latest. Mornings and afternoons all week on KSL News Radio, your legacy home for BYU football.
School is out and the weather's warm. Summer's here. Hi, I'm Jay Broadman at Alpine Home Medical. We offer you the best quality products as well as excellent customer service. Whether you're in one of our 10 retail stores or shopping online, we'll provide you with the best experience possible. From CPAPs to compression stockings to portable oxygen concentrators to wheelchairs and scooters, You won't find a better selection anywhere. Our staff is here to find exactly what you need. And that's the reason why Alpine Home Medical has been voted Best of State in medical supply every year since 2009. When you're in need of medical supplies, we promise you'll find what you want at Alpine Home Medical. If not, we'll find it for you. Don't have time to come in? Shop online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
With the economy the way it is, you're probably staying put. So invest in your home, your number one asset, with beautiful custom replacement windows from Advanced Window Products. They're a local Utah company building beautiful vinyl framed and insulated double pane windows for 37 years right here in Salt Lake City. Advanced Window Products will save you money on your energy bill. Get security features to keep your family safe. And at Advanced Window Products, it's all custom. And the best part? They're local. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. So there's no middleman markup. You save on the highest quality windows in Utah. Plus, Rocky Mountain and Dominion offer rebates. For a limited time, they offer 60-month 0% financing. And right now, get $2,000 off 10 windows or more. They're working 8 weeks out. So make the call now. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help. I'm Jason Erskine with American Home Loans, and we have created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The Bridge Loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlement, or just simply improve your property. Give us a call at 801-262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. During COVID, one of our clients had over $85,000 on credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. We were able to save them $2,000 a month, and after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and improved their situation. Look, the consultation is free. Please let us see what we can do for you. Call 801-262-2221. That's 801-262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. That's AmericanHomeLoans.com.
NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
Every business deserves a great deal. That's why, for a limited time, we're launching the Mobile Made Free event. With Comcast Business Internet, new and existing customers can get 1 year of unlimited mobile for free. Yep, you heard that right. An entire year, free. It's our best internet, powered by the next generation 10G network and with 99.9% reliability, plus 1 line of free mobile for a year. The Mobile Made Free event is happening now.
Get started with internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, for a limited time only, ask how new and existing customers can get a free line of unlimited mobile during the Mobile Made Free event. Call or go online today to learn more. Ends 9/21/2023. EcoBill and autopay required. New 50 megabits per second internet and Security Edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Mobile offer requires 100 megabits per second internet package and new unlimited intro-mobile service. Other restrictions apply.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, back-to-school shopping is proving to be difficult and costly for families and teachers alike. Second, gas prices continue to climb as Utah's average price for a gallon of gas reaches $3.96. And third, warmer temperatures will continue this month with a higher amount of rain than usual. Speaking of the weather, we'll look for a high today of 92 degrees with about a 50-50 chance of rain this afternoon, and right now cloudy in Salt Lake City and 79 degrees. Let's get you back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic, special coverage of the top national story.
President Trump's former President Trump's legal fees are skyrocketing. We've been talking about President Trump and the possibility that he could be indicted in Georgia. It's been hinted that that could happen any day now. And let's talk about those legal fees. Recent report by ABC News says that Trump's PAC has already spent, are you ready for this, more than $40 million on legal fees this year.
It's a good job to be a Trump lawyer. Always a good job. There's always a paycheck to be had because somebody is always suing that guy. Suing, criminal charges, whatever it might be. He's got a team. He's got teams of lawyers. But $40 million, that is a shocking number.
So if you're donating to this candidate, we know that he is moving money from his PAC to like a legal fund to pay for attorney's fees, right? Are we okay with that? That feels kind of that feels off to me. I would expect if I was donating to an attorney, a candidate, it would be going to like advertising to bolster his campaign.
Yeah, I don't care where the money goes.
Oh.
Personally, I do not care. If I'm donating to a candidate, which I've never done, but if I were to donate to a candidate, I don't care where the money goes. If I'm donating to you, it's because I trust you. I want you to win. I trust you're going to use it the way you need. If it's billboards, fine. If it's radio ads, even better. If it's legal fees, okay.
So let's talk about his legal troubles. This is according to Politico, but you can find this information just about anywhere. Yeah. He's got the classified documents case. That's the case out of Mar-a-Lago, right, in Florida, where the FBI went in and finally got back the classified documents. He's been indicted for that. There's more than 30 felony counts.
Yeah, the classified documents case, it's so interesting how many different cases from different angles this is coming from. Because classified documents, okay, that's one thing. And then we've got, the hush money, and then the election interference, and then the January. There's so many things, and I think this is what we're going to dive into is some more detail. But the classified documents case, where these boxes of classified top secret documents are being kept in, what was it, a shower? I think there was a few boxes in showers or in like a backstage, a closet. Yeah, very haphazardly handled.
We got the hush money case involving Stormy Daniels. That's the one out of New York, right?
Yeah.
Even I'm having a hard time keeping.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going from Florida. Now we've flown into New York. 34 felony counts regarding the alleged violation of corporate record keeping.
Yeah, it was a record keeping. Remember, it was his lawyer, his fixer, Michael Cohen, right? It was basically paying off Stormy Daniels, who's a porn star, who he had allegedly had an affair with, and he was trying to keep her quiet when he was running for president. And the Manhattan DA is making some connection, saying that the way he paid for it was illegal. That was the corporate record-keeping problem.
I'm not advocating for hush money, but that of all the cases that I'm looking at this list of, that's the one that I'm like, oh, okay, look, maybe we could set that one aside. It's not, to me, it doesn't bubble up as the priority case. I think the top secret documents, huge deal in my mind. I think however, I want to say an even bigger one for me is this Georgia election interference investigation that's been going on, and we're hearing that this indictment could happen any day, where President Trump, in a recorded phone call, gets on the line with Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, and just it's more than urged. I mean, it's almost like he's armed. I mean, he's the President of the United States calling a state elections official fined 11,780 votes.
The people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Yeah, there's pressure. And it's wild that people to this day either don't realize they're being recorded or they just don't care. And I think maybe former President Trump just doesn't care. He doesn't think or doesn't see anything wrong with the phone calls he's making.
Maybe
it's the perfect phone call.
Maybe he didn't figure the call was going to get leaked to the Washington Post. I mean, maybe he didn't think that the Washington Post or major news outlets were going to get a copy of that phone call. So it was going to be a he said if somebody did approach Raffensperger about it, and he wouldn't be able to prove it. Who knows what the thought process was on that? Regardless of it, That's the one that's really caught on tape in context. Like, I've got the whole context with that when I listen to that recorded phone call. So to me, I'm like, look, the guy Trump was trying to pressure Raffensperger into changing election results, meddling in our free election. Guess what? Then, if he does that, our elections aren't so free anymore.
Well, I would push back on you in this way. Raffensperger obviously has one set of numbers. President Trump was working off a different set of numbers. He's not doing his own research. His lawyers, somebody he trusts, is bringing him information that is saying there's all this impropriety going on with elections in Georgia. He's calling the guy over the elections in Georgia, and he's challenging him with his set of numbers, which you'll hear Raffensperger say, your numbers are wrong. He's very clear with that. He doesn't budge at all.
Down. Right.
He didn't back down at all. So can you blame or can you hold somebody criminally liable for asking a question or going off of bad information? I don't know if it's creepy. I get it. It's icky. I'm not sure it's illegal. He had bad information. Everyone works off of bad information at times. It doesn't make you a criminal.
January 6th insurrection. That is another legal battle that President Trump could be facing. There's an investigation that's been ongoing as to what, his role and influence, and he's received a target letter indicating that an indictment could likely happen very soon on that. We all kind of remember what happened at the Capitol after President gave that rally speech, and those thousands, hundreds, maybe thousands of people marched up to the Capitol that day. And then what happened? He has not been indicted on that, though. I want to make that clear. But that is one that could come. So now we have, if you've lost track of all of President Trump's legal troubles and why he has taken PAC money and donations to the tune of more than probably $40 million and paid legal fees with it, this is why. This is why. And I was looking over, I actually dug into his donation list. You can find it on the Federal Election Commission's website, Dave. And I was astounded at the number of, you said you don't care what he spends money on if you were to donate and you haven't donated, but it doesn't matter to you if it's a billboard or if it's legal fees. Here's what bothers me, though. Retirees are donating to the former president. And I wonder if they knew that their money was going to fund his legal troubles, if they would feel differently about it. A lot of the retirees giving very, very low amounts, like $5 or $2.50. But some I saw donating $90 and $25. My parents are retirees. A lot of people on fixed income are retirees. I'm not sure they can afford to fund a billionaire's legal troubles.
Their choice, though, right? They can.
Do they know that it's going? Do they know this until this is being reported? Do they know that's where it's going to be used?
Yeah, and maybe not. Maybe they assume it's going to be advertising, whatever it might be. I think ultimately, here's the big question: do you think that Trump's legal problems? Do you think any of those, of the 4 or 5 that you just mentioned, do you think any of them are politically motivated? And I think 47%, according to an ABC News poll, say, 47% of America thinks that all these charges that you just listed off are politically motivated. So if I think they're politically motivated, am I more apt to contribute to the legal fund? Absolutely.
Hey, we're an equal opportunity talk show here. So let's talk about President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, next. Dave, what did you find when you were starting to research this story?
He has a business partner that may have caused the president all sorts of problems.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Tim Hughes. Let's take a look at our top stories this half hour. The Community Action Services and Food Bank in Provo is struggling to find donations and volunteers. Impact Officer Jessica Miller says many families need the help.
A lot of families that, with housing costs so high, they're having to dip into their food budget to just meet their housing.
The food bank is always accepting donations or volunteers, and you can learn how to help at communityactionuc.org. Our top national story now from ABC News. Florida Governor DeSantis is now challenging Vice President Harris to a debate about slavery.
Florida's new school standards will tell teachers to say that some black slaves learned skills that could be applied for their personal benefit. Vice President Harris telling ABC's Lindsay Davis,
people who were enslaved did not benefit from slavery. Period.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says Harris is wrong about the curriculum and is asking her to discuss his state's new African American history guidelines and telling her, quote, I hope you're feeling up to it. Andy Field, ABC News.
Other national stories we're following this hour. Former President Trump says his indictment in the January 6th case could come any day now, with the grand jury expected to meet later today. We get more from ABC's M. Wynn in Washington.
Trump faces and expects to face a new indictment in the special counsel's investigation into his actions after the 2020 election. That includes the events leading up to the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. A grand jury hearing evidence in the case is expected to meet today.
This all comes as a Mar-a-Lago manager went before a judge after being accused of deleting security camera footage related to the classified documents case. Your money at this moment, the market's now all losing ground. The Dow is off about 25 points. The S&P is down 17, and the NASDAQ is off by 62 this hour. Coming up, we could see some thunderstorms today. The rain most likely in the afternoon on your way home. We'll check the forecast next. KSL News Time, 9:33.
Early mornings can be hard enough, just getting yourself going.
We try to make it a little easier with news and weather from comfortable, trusted anchors and reporters.
Join us on Utah's Morning News between 5 and 9
on KSL News Radio.
Introducing Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. We're bringing all of Utah's favorite HVAC, plumbing, and electrical brands under one roof. Maximize your energy savings with a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Yes Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric today. Get up to $1,750 back and a free Nest thermostat when Yes buys back your old inefficient HVAC system. Proudly serving Utah for more than 45 years. Call now or visit theyesmancan.com for details, terms, and conditions.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new place. Nothing is everything.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Premium checking from America First Credit Union is so much more than a regular checking account. It's a saves you money, makes life easier, always has your back account, because it's absolutely loaded with fantastic benefits and features. In fact, it comes stocked with so much awesome stuff. It was voted Best Perks by Money.com. So make sure you're rocking more than a checking account. Head to America First and apply for the exclusive protection, perks, and paybacks of premium checking today. Subject to membership eligibility and conditions. Federally insured by NCUA. Since 1939, America First has been helping people pursue their financial goals. And as we have, we've become one of the largest credit unions in the country. The reason why is simple. It's because every day we do our very best to help each person, family, and business we serve to realize their individual dreams and achieve financial well-being. True to our name, we always strive to put our members and employees first. So come join us and let us put you first. America First Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Time again for traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union High Yield Savings Certificates. Let's go to Heather Kelly.
Well, we still have delays on westbound I-80 between 700 East and State Street. This is due to an earlier crash. It had been blocking center lanes. Now, they did get it moved over to the right. The right lane and shoulder still blocked, which is why you still have slowing in that area. The good news is all the other roadways across the Wasatch Front are moving freely. Upgrade your countertops with beautiful quartz or granite. With Bedrock Quartz, it's only 7 days from template to installation. With showrooms in Layton, West Jordan, St. George, and Pleasant Grove. BedrockQuartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Quick look at the weather. Scattered thunderstorms this afternoon, a forecasted high of 92, and then we'll get comfortable with 4 straight days in the 80s. And even Sunday, Monday, we will likely barely get to 90 degrees. We haven't changed much temperature-wise this morning. Still cloudy, 79 downtown. At KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com, your all-day companion for news.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
We're going to go live back to Washington, D.C. in just a moment to talk more with ABC News about this former business partner of Hunter Biden. He met with lawmakers behind closed doors to testify about his business dealings and whether his father, President Joe Biden, was ever involved. Something that the president has denied for years.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
Do you stand by your statement that you did not discuss any of your son's overseas business dealings?
Yes, I stand by that statement.
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
And now this former business partner makes it a little more complicated. It might not be so cut and dry like that. That the president never knew anything about Hunter's business dealings.
Can I just say something? I would find it difficult to believe personally, just that a father doesn't talk to his son about business dealings. Like, and maybe you're not digging super deep or looking at the account statements or something like that, but you never, ever, like he is just absolutely insistent.
I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else anything having to do with their businesses, period.
How do you stand by your statement?
How do you wall yourself off?
Any of your son's overseas business
yes,
dealings?
I stand by that.
Hey, buddy, what you up to?
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business
I'm a parent.
dealings.
Dave, you're a parent, right? We have these conversations with our kids, just like it's offering them a glass of water. Like, hey, how's business going?
How's work
your
going?
job?
Yeah.
You got anything cool going on?
Oh, you're making millions?
Oh, don't tell me about that deal. I don't want to know about that deal. I don't want to know. So it's just that. Okay,
doesn't pass the smell test.
It doesn't pass the parenting test. It doesn't pass the parenting. But Jay O'Brien, ABC News correspondent, standing by live. What do we know about this former business partner and what he told lawmakers?
So this is a guy by the name of Devin Archer. This is Hunter Biden's former business partner. He gets subpoenaed to come before the House Oversight Committee, and he does that yesterday. It's not a formal hearing. It's more of like a deposition. It's all done behind closed doors. So we don't know exactly what Archer said. All we really know of what he said is what lawmakers who were inside that room came out and said before the TV cameras yesterday. And there's been a lot of jockeying over the significance of this testimony. We've heard Republicans who run this committee saying that Archer's testimony shows that, as James Comer, the chair of the committee, put it, quote, Joe Biden lied to the American people when he said he had no knowledge about his son's business dealings and was not involved. But we've seen Democrats also emerge from the same room after hearing the exact same testimony say that Archer provided no evidence that President Biden was directly involved in his son's business dealings. It all really hinges on these phone calls. There are about 20 phone calls over 10 years Archer seems to have testified to, according to lawmakers, of Biden, President Biden, then Vice President Biden, and sometimes out of office, even not the vice president anymore, getting on the phone with Hunter Biden's business associates. But what Archer testified to is that those conversations, according to one Democrat in the room, were about the weather, were about pleasantries. So it all hinges on those those phone calls and what was said, but certainly Republicans thinking that Archer is going to be a very key part of their case when it comes to President Biden and trying to tie him to Hunter's business dealings.
So the disagreement, it appears, is whether Hunter Biden was selling access to President Biden or, as I've heard it framed, the illusion of access. Is that fair?
And the question becomes whether or not what Hunter Biden was doing in terms of access and things of that nature. The committee's stated goal here is to try to prove what lawmakers say they already know exists, which is a financial connection between whatever Hunter Biden's overseas business dealings were and his father's finances. That's what Jim Comer, who runs the House Oversight Committee, says. He believes that financial linkage is there. Whether or not he can prove that with evidence is still unclear. Even Comer has gone so far as to admit that he hopes he can do that, but they don't have full, hard, factual evidence yet. That's why they're turning to Devin Archer to try to gather some evidence on that front, and it doesn't look like their investigation is going to wrap up anytime soon.
It does seem that these phone calls, the speakerphone phone call is really the crux, or I guess maybe the big aha moment. If you could paint a little bit of a picture, how was it described that these phone calls were going down?
Well, it's interesting because the description of those phone calls really depends upon who's describing it in the room. It's a third-party characterization of what Devin Archer said because, again, he doesn't say any of it publicly. He says it behind closed doors in that setting, and that is not necessarily fully intentional. It appears that Devin Archer would probably testify in public at some time, but you usually testify behind closed doors before you testify in public when you have kind of a long committee investigation like this. So we don't fully know what Archer said. We know what lawmakers say Archer said about those phone calls. And Jim Comer, again, says that Archer, by virtue of saying that he was there for those phone calls and President Biden being on the phone with those individuals, is proof enough in Comer's eyes that, in his view, the president lied and said he was not involved in Hunter's business dealings. But for Democrats, and again, I'm kind of trotting over the same ground here, but for Democrats who heard that exact same testimony, they took a totally different thing away from Devin Archer's testimony. But the person we haven't heard from yet publicly is Devin Archer. Everyone's characterizing what he said, but we don't know exactly what he said.
Jay O'Brien, thank you for joining us, ABC News correspondent. Now, Debbie, he referenced the representatives and how they described it. Let's play the actual sound bites. This is from Democratic Representative Daniel Goldman.
About what happened in that closed-door meeting with Hunter Biden's associate. Okay.
The witness was very, very consistent that none of those conversations ever had to do with any business dealings or transactions. They were purely what he called casual conversation.
Okay, but here's the flip side. The other interpretation from Republican Representative James Comer, who disagrees.
He knew exactly who his son was getting those millions and millions of dollars of wires from, and he spoke to them, and he spoke to them often.
Now, part of what is interesting about this story is Devin Archer apparently was sitting on the same Burisma board as Hunter Biden. And the way they described it is they would be, say, sitting at a dinner, and Hunter would basically call up Dad, or Dad would call him. He had put him on speakerphone, and it would be, hey, they exchanged pleasantries. Now, is that selling access or the illusion of access, or is it all the same thing? Because
I think he's trying to use his dad to get, points, score points.
Hey, I've got Dad on speed dial. I can talk to Dad whenever I want. We're not going to talk about business.
Do you know who my father is?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying it without necessarily saying it.
We don't know for sure, but it just seems so. I go back to that. I'm not 100% sure as a parent I would ever be able to wall off my children from conversations that they have with their professions.
If my kid calls me up, hey, Dad, I'm going to put you on speakerphone. I'm here with some of my friends, business associates. What do you? It's fishy.
Do you think this is just the beginning? They're going to continue to hound on this one, right? We're going to find out more.
Well, the fact that he has been so adamant saying, I had nothing to do with my son's business dealings, but now we have a former business partner saying, oh, well, I mean, we had talked to him somewhere around 20 different times on speakerphone. It was never officially about anything. It was never about business, but we could get him on the line if we needed.
Yesterday, for the first time, we heard Lori Daybell speak in court during her sentencing.
I've had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world.
The judge sentencing her to back-to-back life sentences without the possibility of parole. We're going to go live to Idaho in about 3 minutes and talk to the reporter who has been tracking this story from the very beginning. Nate Eaton of the East Idaho News joins us in a few.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Before Dave and Debbie get started each day, this station is all news, all morning.
And later today, we follow up on those stories as you drive home.
Get important news all morning and all afternoon.
Here on KSL News Radio.
Home is where the heart is. It's also where the office is, the school is, the restaurant is, the stadium is. Basically, your home is now the center for everything. So right now might just be the perfect time to upgrade your living space to one that has, well, a little more space. If you've been thinking about building, with home prices leveling out and material costs coming down, right now may be the perfect time to start building your dream home. Let the construction loan experts at Golden West Credit Union help make building your dream home a reality with a convenient low-rate construction loan. We also offer one-time close options so you can secure your construction loan and mortgage conveniently at the same time. Get a personalized rate quote right from the comfort of your own home or with a lending expert at any Golden West branch, or apply in minutes online today at gwcu.org. Golden West Credit Union, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 440574.
We'll take care of you.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
This is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. We all could probably agree that college is a big investment. It's critical that your student has absolutely the best equipment, as all jobs are moving heavily towards computers and tech. Here's a crazy example. Let's say you're learning how to do video production or computer programming, and it takes your computer 6 hours to compile a video or a project. A super fast PC Laptops computer could cut that down to under 30 minutes. That's why so many massive companies across the country choose PC Laptops computers to massively increase efficiency and save money. All new PC Laptops desktop computers come with a lifetime parts and labor warranty, so you can stay mega productive with total peace of mind. We have brand new PC Laptops desktop computers from $11.99 or $29 a month, back with that lifetime warranty. And to make it extra awesome, we're doing 0 interest for a year, OAC. So run to any of our PC Laptops locations right now or check us out at PCLaptops.com. That's PCLaptops.com, where we love you.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs that will significantly reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief has helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. For this free information, call 800-786-3400. That's 800-786-3400.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Tim Hughes. First, Salt Lake City is suing the city of Erta and the owners of a flagpole they say is causing problems at the Tooele Airport. Second, Utah's teachers getting creative in order to get the supplies they need for their classes this fall. And third, the city of Elkridge has asked the DWR to trap and euthanize deer roaming around the community, but not everybody likes that idea. We'll shoot for a high today of 92 degrees, thunder showers this afternoon, and right now 79 in Salt Lake City. Now back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
The trial of Lori Vallow Daybell. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Dave, what was your initial reaction when Lori Vallow Daybell decided to say something in court yesterday during her sentencing?
I thought maybe she would show some remorse. I thought maybe she would speak to the victims' families, apologize, right? That is exactly the opposite of what actually happened.
I've had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world. Because of my communications with my friend Tammy Daybell, I know that she is also very happy and extremely busy. I have always mourned.
How chilling is that? I've spoken to their dead spirits and they are happy. They are happier.
And she couched it in a way that her children have forgiven her, that JJ has appeared and said, "Mommy, I love you and I know you love me," and that Tylee had returned in spirit to say, "Stop worrying, Mom." And her speech, and she could do that, right? It's her trial. She's about to be sentenced by the judge, came after numerous people stood up in court on behalf of the victims. JJ, Tylee, and Tammy, all dead. She's been convicted now. Lori's been convicted in their deaths, and she's facing sentencing. And here's what Tammy said, or Tammy's sister, Samantha, said.
Over the last few years, I've often thought about what I would ever say to you, Lori. I've often thought about what my sister would have said too. The minute I found out that Chad had quickly remarried after the death of my most beloved sister, Tammy, it confirmed what I had always felt. You see, the minute I received the phone call that she had died, I knew something had happened to her, but I didn't know why I would feel that way. So when we were told by Chad that he had married you and that it had happened 2 weeks after Tammy had been buried, my heart knew. I researched you like any true woman would to find out who you were. What did I find? Lies. Everything about you that you tried to tell others is a lie.
Nate Eaton is the news director for the East Idaho News. You've been tracking this case from the beginning. As you were listening to that, what stood out to you most when you were in court yesterday?
The big question was Lori going to talk? I had heard that she had dozens of pages of a statement that she wanted to read. And the question was she going to do that? In her trial, we didn't know if she was going to testify or not. And it came down to the last minute, is she going to? And she decided not to. So it was kind of a waiting game, I think, even for her attorneys. Is she going to talk? Is she not? And then when she did open her mouth, I personally, having followed this, was not too surprised at what she had said. I know for many it was, but based on everything, communication I've heard from her with her legal team, she has been stuck in this. I will say I just spoke with her sister. We just posted the story on eastidahonews.com about 10 minutes ago, and her sister said that in all of her life, she's never heard some of the stuff Lori said. For instance, Lori said that she died when she was giving birth to Tylee, that she had an out-of-death experience. Her family's never heard that before. So there was even stuff that was new to them that came out. But I think hearing that statement from her was surprising. I think it was a good sense of closure, though. This case has been going on nearly 4 years for many, that she is going away for life. She will never, step foot out, and they can move forward, I guess, from here.
Nate Eaton with the East Idaho News. He's the news director there and has been tracking ever so closely the case of Chad and Lori Daybell. Of course, the deaths of JJ, Tammy Daybell, Chad's wife, who died mysteriously, and then when they exhumed the body, they find that she died from asphyxiation. and then also Tylee, Lori's oldest daughter. And she also said something to the effect that Tylee was suffering great pain her whole life, suffering from pancreatitis. Had anybody ever heard that before?
Yeah, that is
It's an
true.
old
She
story?
was hospitalized.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the things her sister said. There was some truth in that statement that Lori said. For instance, the pancreatitis was true. She was out of school a lot, getting treatment at the hospital. So that was true. I think what caught so many people off guard, though, is when Lori said that Jesus Christ knows none of these people were murdered, that there was suicides and mix-ups in medications.
Yeah.
Things
Almost like
that-
planting
it's
a
like,
seed that there is something else at work here. And that clearly didn't work with the judge. None of that worked.
Oh, no. And the other thing is, if there was a thought of that, why wasn't that brought up in the trial? Why wasn't that used as maybe a defense? So it was just kind of outlandish. But it was the one time that Lori could speak and not be questioned. There was no cross-examination. She was able to say whatever she wanted. No one was going to push back. And so maybe she feels happier now that she did what she did. I don't know if it will have any impact on Chad's trial as we, look forward to that coming up next spring. But I'm sure he was paying close attention yesterday.
Well, as you mentioned, Chad Daybell, let's talk about him. He grew up here in Utah. He faces the death penalty. After seeing such a harsh penalty for his wife, Lori, is there any discussion that he is more apt to take a plea deal right now, or is he going to go to trial?
As of now, he's going to trial. There might be some discussion about a plea agreement at this point. I know that attempts at mediation over the past few years have gone nowhere with him. One of the big things is he would have to admit to killing his wife, Tammy, who grew up there in Springville, and he just has not gotten there at this point. He may also think that he has nothing to lose by going to trial, that, throw it all in there. The trial would be similar to what we heard at Lori's and all of the evidence that came out, but there would also be new aspects. He's actually charged with Tammy's murder. Lori was only charged with conspiracy for her murder. So the prosecutor feels that they have more on that actual death. So it would be fascinating. You mentioned it is a death penalty case. That was taken off the table for Lori, so it would be a longer trial. The stakes would be a little bit higher as to what they have to prove. But as of now, he's set to go. That could change between now and April 1st.
Nate Eaton, thank you for being so available and giving us your insight with the East Idaho News. Thank you for joining us.
If you want to read more on Nate's latest story, you just go to eastidahonews.com. Again, Nate, thank you so much. Straight ahead, Dave and I are going to start looking at the numbers to tell you which school districts and which counties will see the biggest drop-off in school-age kids from 5 years old to 17 years old, which could spell a lot more school closures. I'll give you one example. The Granite School District alone has lost 8,000 students in the last 10 years. The Salt Lake City School District has a projection on its website from 2017 to 2027. They were expecting to lose 2,200 students over that decade. What does the rest of the state look like? I've got the numbers for you. Let's take an in-depth look next.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bonas. KSL's top story this hour. Teachers are getting their classrooms ready for the new school year. And in a lot of circumstances, they're putting their own money into student incentives. One Utah teacher thinks people making classroom budgets may not understand how much these help.
Stuff that a legislator would think it's, then don't buy that. You shouldn't be giving kids candy all day. But sometimes it helps. It helps control their behavior. It helps them give something. I mean, we all want something to work for.
Teachers get around $175 a year for classroom supplies. Many spend hundreds of their own money to make sure their class has what it needs. Our top national story this hour from ABC News.
With two more criminal indictments looming in Georgia and Washington for former President Trump, ABC News legal contributor Jeffrey Robbins says it'll be a race to the finish during the next 12 months for this indictment traffic jam to try and ensure that all four expected criminal cases can be wrapped up before the 2024 presidential election.
It's going to really be a challenge. We're really now up against it if that's going to happen. A lot of witnesses, a lot of legal theories. There are going to be a lot of Hail Mary passes thrown by the Trump team, like the one that they threw and lost yesterday when they tried to get the prosecution precluded. And so it's sort of hold on to your hats in terms of the timing of the four criminal cases that the former president is likely to face now.
Expected charges in Georgia and Washington, D.C., though, haven't yet been announced. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up on the day, but just by 6 points or so. The NASDAQ is down 61. And our KSL weather, look out for those thunderstorms. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
What do you need to hear in the morning to feel ready for the day?
Important news that happened overnight, the traffic you'll hit on the roads.
You'll be ready for your day with us.
Join Utah's Morning News 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Everything's changing so fast these days, and that's a great thing. Back in my day, we were lucky if we could get one video to load on a desktop computer, but now there's the Xfinity 10G network. That means the fastest internet with faster speeds rolling out all the time, and internet that can power a house full of devices with ultra-low lag. So one person streams a movie from their room, another can play video games in the basement, while another TikToks in the kitchen. It's the next generation 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gigabit internet with unlimited internet data and Wi-Fi equipment included. It's all just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait. You do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle, so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's high-yield savings certificates. Here's Heather Kelly.
First time all morning long. We don't have any delays on the freeways throughout Salt Lake Valley and also up in Davis and Provo area. You do have an accident still, though, on westbound I-80. That is right at the State Street exit ramp, but it's over on the right shoulder. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, today's high 92, and that'll be the warmest of the coming week. Mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon and tomorrow. And right now, we're at 80 degrees, partly cloudy at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Your all-day companion for news.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
You know, we have been talking for quite some time now about school closures. There's been school closures in the Alpine District. We've talked about closures in the Granite District, and now the one that is bubbling up currently is the list of closures, the potential closures. I want to make that clear. It's potential closures of 7 elementary schools in the Salt Lake City School District. I know there's a meeting tonight a board meeting in the Salt Lake City School District. They're going to talk about this. I think what they're going to mainly do is kind of solidify the schools for study, Dave, and they're going to study it over the next several months before they make any firm decisions. But this is impacting a lot of Utah families.
And to be very clear, these potential school closures, it's not because they are underperforming. It's not because they've done something wrong. This is we can't fill the school. We don't have enough students,
I call it a crisis
right?
in demographics. How's that? A crisis in age demographics for these schools. And it is not only happening in the Salt Lake City School District. I'm going to give you some insight into areas of the state that are going to explode with 5 to 17-year-olds, which are school-age kids, over the next couple of decades, and a couple of counties that are going to continue to dwindle. And I think those tough decisions are going to have to be made on a more regular basis. They're going to have to be extremely strategic about building new schools, replacing old schools, and combining schools. So let's start with the Granite District and what they've been hit with. There are 3 schools that won't reopen this month. When everybody else goes back to school, Twin Peaks, Spring Lane, and Mill Creek will not reopen. Okay. And then let's move over now to the Salt Lake City School District, kind of, downtown, the area east-west of downtown. Now on the bubble for potential closure are Emerson Elementary, Hawthorne, Benyon, Mary Jackson, Newman, Riley, and Wasatch Elementary. That's 7 schools. And then in addition to that, you've got 20 other schools that could possibly be realigned, which means boundary shifts. This is in large part, Dave, from what I've been able to find, due to a decreasing number of school-age kids. A couple of problems at work at hand. Likely this is impacting Granite the same way it is the Salt Lake City School District. Granite, Salt Lake City School District, birth rates are down. And on top of that, housing prices are up. So there's, a housing price crunch that is pricing young families out of these school districts. They can't afford to live there. Therefore, their kids are not going to go to school in those areas.
And when it is statewide, you can't really sell your home and move somewhere else because you're going to be paying a premium on homes as well. So people are staying largely in their home. It's not as easy to sell and move.
Interest rate, right?
Then you've got the interest rate, yeah.
Right. So if you're locked in right now at a 2.99% interest rate on a 30-year fixed, why in the world are you going to sell and get a 6.5% rate on a 30-year fix? Because now your payment's just going to balloon. So you're right. It's just a lose-lose. So let's drill down. Granite District has already lost 8,000 students in the last decade. And we're going to speak to the Granite District in just a moment and have Ben Horsley of the district paint us a picture of what the future looks like. The district has already closed 6 schools in the last few years. They say they expect to close another one this fall, and they need to close another 5 in the next 5 to 7 years.
Part of what is so crucial to understand about this, and as you were listing just in the Salt Lake School District, 7 elementary schools. Well, why are you picking on elementary schools? Well, because they're the smallest. They're the most impacted by
and
fluctuation.
They're the first through the wall. But think about it. You don't send a kindergartner to middle school. You send a kindergartner to elementary school. And as soon as the birth rate drops and families start moving away or can't afford to move in, you're not going to have enough kindergartners to fill the classrooms.
So the elementary schools, if they're carrying maybe 200 to 400 kids, the middle schools are probably in the 800 range, and then the high schools are 1 to 2,000. So you can close one high school for every 4 or 5 elementary schools. Again, it all depends on demographics, but these smaller elementary schools, they just can't sustain or absorb wild changes from year to year in demographics.
It costs more too to run an elementary school that's half filled.
Right. Of course.
I mean, I kind of call it the bulk effect, like you get at Costco. It's cheaper the more you buy. In a sense, it is less expensive to educate a full classroom full of kids than it is to educate 15 kids in a class. In a
The
public school.
economies of scale.
Economies
Yep.
of scale. Okay. But this is such a hot button issue. Like, where's the emotion in your voice?
Here's the emotion.
If they came to you and said they're closing your favorite elementary school around the corner, I mean, usually it's just like people hit the ceiling.
You want me to be angry. I want to say thank you. Like, I think it takes bravery to close schools.
There's
and
a
I
surprise.
think far too often the community rises up and they intimidate and they bully the school districts into keeping these schools open when they know they should close them. So I think it takes a great deal of bravery to close schools. I wish they would do it in a more expedient and quick fashion, because
just rip the Band-Aid off.
the numbers are there, right? If you have enough numbers to keep the school open, great. If not, close it.
Yeah, and that's what they're facing. But it is taking some time, right? I mean, these take time, and then the community gets to weigh in on whether they should keep their favorite elementary school open or close. I mean, eventually, I think this will start smacking the middle school and the high schools. Just looking at the Salt Lake City district's report, they have a demographic report. It's all on their website. You can go in and look at this. Like, I didn't compile these numbers myself.
You're not a demographer.
I'm not. I want to be when I grow up. They're going to have just about a net decrease they expected from 2017, so a few years ago, to 2027, a net decrease of about 2,200 elementary school kids. And then over I think it's that same 10-year period, middle school grades declining by 28%, high schools declining by 23%. By the school year of 2027. So you're looking at drop-offs. Here goes that those kids up the grade scale, right? Now those kindergartners, as they move into older grades, they'll start to see fewer and fewer kids in their class in middle and high school.
So if you have a 20 to 30% decrease, are we really going to see a quarter to a third of schools being closed down?
Like,
that's what the numbers,
like apple to apple.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Salt Lake County, Kim C. Gardner also does a lot of this kind of research up at the University of Utah, right? They do the demographics. Salt Lake County, they project in the next several decades will be losing about 2,000 students. The birth rate's down, housing prices are going up and up and up, 2,000 across the county. Now that's projected further out. So what I'm saying is there's going to continue to be a decline if you look at the projections of students in that elementary school age group. Summit County will also lose. So Park City area will also lose. They're projecting 1,200 students. So Summit County, Salt Lake County kind of faced with these school districts faced with these tough decisions. But here's the counties that are going to explode. And what's going to be interesting about this is while other districts are tearing down schools, some of these counties will be brick and mortaring their way into more schools, if that's still how things are done, right? If we're not all remote learning by then. Let's start with Washington County. They're going to gain 16,000 students down there in the St. George area between now and the year 2060. 16,000 students.
And again, let's put this into context. 16,000 students would be 8 new high schools.
Talk about elementary schools. You got to build the elementary schools first.
Yeah, that's 24.
24 elementary schools.
If all those gains were elementary school kids, but yeah, that's how many facilities you would need. Divide it up however you want, but 16,000 kids.
I found interesting too, Cache County, up by the Logan area, will gain, according to projections, 9,000 5-year-olds to 17 years old. 9,000. So they're going to be potentially building as well.
Yeah.
Here's the biggie. Utah County. This number's eye-popping. 73,000 school-age kids added to the Utah County area by the year 2060. Dave's doing the math. What does that mean?
36 high schools. Over 10 years?
No. That's going to be between now and 2060.
Oh,
according to
2060.
So,
Okay, 40
but,
years.
But divide that by, that's 10,000 kids, 11,000 kids a year or something like that, right? I mean, I don't know. You do that. You tell me. I do terrible math on the air, but if you look over 35 years at 73,000 kids, I mean, that's tons and tons of kids and new schools.
To give you an idea, that if that happens, you would be on average building a new high school every single year for the next 40 years. That's the kind of growth you're talking about.
Let's get the Granite School District in Salt Lake County live on the line. We're going to ask them how they're going to deal with this crisis in demographics in 3 minutes.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Hey, stay right here for more of Dave and Dujanovic.
And tomorrow morning, come back here for news, traffic updates, and reliable weather.
Join us to have a listen. Tim and Amanda.
Your morning companions for news.
KSL in your community is on the road again at the Utah County Fair. Join Maria Shilaos and Jeff Caplan's afternoon news live from the fair, Thursday 3 to 7. Learn about this year's tasty treats, vendors, music, family entertainment, rodeos, and the fair's longtime host city, Spanish Fork. Thursday afternoon on KSL News Radio.
I guess it's human nature, Amanda, that no matter how much money we have in our savings account, it never seems like it's enough. And if you find yourself in that mode right now, let us direct you over to our friends at UCCU. They are wanting to help you supercharge your savings.
UCCU is offering high-rate savings options with yields up to 5.5%. All you do is go to uccu.com and select a high-rate savings option to do just what you said, supercharge your savings.
You're going to get a much bigger return on your savings right now. It's a savings certificate, which means you make one deposit up front and your money grows over a fixed period of time. So you can have that grow over 5 years, but UCCU has created some very short-term savings certificates with high yields, short like 6 months, 9 months, or a year.
So you decide how long do you want to put that money. You deposit money, a one-time only deposit, and then you let it stay in. The longer it stays in there, the higher the interest rate you earn.
And if you need immediate access to your money, UCCU's Money Market will give you a high yield and anytime access.
UCCU, you're going to love where you bank.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Are you finally ready to lose weight for life? Imagine the new you and feeling good in your body without the discomfort and even pain from the excess weight. Get your consultation today at Revive Men's Health here in Salt Lake City to assess your health and discuss if their safe and effective weight loss treatment with semaglutide is a good fit for you. They offer treatments for anyone who may need support in their weight loss goals or who may benefit from semaglutide support with pricing up to 60% less than the name brand medications. They also offer comprehensive DNA-based testing to help you understand your metabolism to make sustained weight loss, better performance, and fitness a reality. Join our satisfied patients who are maintaining substantial weight loss. Call Revive today and book your consultation. Men, women, and couples are all welcome at Revive. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
The movie show broadcasts from Hale Center Theater this Friday. 2024 season tickets are now on sale for everybody. Go to hct.org today.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Thomas. First, school teachers are spending a lot of their own money on classroom supplies as they get ready for the school year. Second, higher interest rates mean a decline in home listings for real estate agents. Third, resolving the potential criminal cases against former President Trump could result in a traffic jam in the courts. Right now, 80 degrees, partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
I think for school district the writing is on the wall. Maybe to change up the way we're doing things. Salt Lake County's population is growing older, according to demographic reports out of the University of Utah. And in the next couple of decades, I think there's going to have to be more school closures. The birth rate is down, and housing prices are up to the point that young families can't afford to move into areas that they have populated for years and years. We built all these schools. We've kind of done things the same way over the last several decades. And now we don't have the kids on the horizon, the young kids, to fill seats in classrooms.
I love that they're having this conversation because it is supremely unpopular to close a school. I've got an elementary school that is 1 mile from my home. If I had to move and go somewhere else, it would be a headache, no question. But I think it takes some bravery to do so, and it's crucial to do so, because when the enrollment, when that goes down, then you're just spreading the frosting too thin across the cake. There's a perfect amount of frosting. You don't want too much, you don't want too little, you want the perfect amount.
Yeah, that's super hard when you're talking about families making decisions on how many kids they're going to have and how many will eventually remain in the area and help populate that school down the street. You know, we do know from like the studies of births and numbers and all that other stuff that was way above our pay grade. Thankfully, others do it, so we just have to kind of parse through the data. That Washington County, St. George will see a boom in school-age kids through in the next couple of decades. Cache County as well. That surprised me. Isn't it cold there? Like super cold. No, they're moving in. They're moving into Cache County. Good for Logan. And Utah County, which we've known is the population in Utah County is going to double over the next couple of decades. It's a very popular place for young families. They will add some 73,000 young people, ages 5 to 17. Utah County they may be having issues with school overcrowding for all I know. But in other areas like Salt Lake County, we've got the opposite problem here.
What makes it tricky is it ebbs and flows. It changes as people move out, new families move in. It's not an exact science. Ben Horsley from the Granite School District joins us right now. Remind us, how are things going in the Granite School District? How many schools have the district closed recently, or are you planning on closing more?
Yeah, we had an independent demographer come in several years ago, pre-COVID, and told us we needed to close about 10 to 12 elementary schools over the next decade. We've gone through that. We have a fairly lengthy public input process. It takes about a year to close the school on a calendar year basis. We start in January and make final decisions in the November, December timeframe. Last year, we went through 90 different public meetings, and we ended up closing 3 elementary schools. So in total, we've closed 6 elementary schools. We have 1 additional school that we're studying this year for potential closure, and we expect to close another 5 to 6 in subsequent years.
Ben Horsley of the Granite School District. If you're kind of new to the area, you're not sure where the Granite School District is, it's kind of like would you say like the sort of the middle of Salt Lake County, Ben, east to west?
21st South, 62nd South, mountain to mountain.
Yeah, Holiday to West Valley City. You got a lot of kids there, but you've lost, I read some reports that lost like 8,000 students in the last several years. Is that an accurate number?
Yeah, we peaked out around 78,000 in the early 90s. We're down to about 58,000. We actually expect to lose another 2,000 to 3,000. So we expect to kind of mature out at about 55,000. A lot of people say, what's going on? This is very normal. Populations ebb and flow, they peak, and then they settle about 2/3 of their max population generally. We see that in school populations, and we see that in the district-wide population.
Can you give me the pitch why closing a school is better?
Yeah, small schools are not great for kids anymore. It used to be the notion is everybody would know everybody's names, but if you think about parents want options, they want choices, they want to be able to be in a supportive community. If you have only 280 kids, which is one of the schools we closed last year, had only 280 kids in it, that's less than 2 teachers per grade level, which means that if you don't like one of the teachers, it's not a really great fit for your student. In some instances, there might not be another teacher at that grade level, or it's a split class, which nobody loves. So it's very difficult on that front. You don't have a lot of parents involved in the PTA and other community organizations, so there's a lack of support. And our school staffs get very strained in our small school locations because they're supplicating all these other job responsibilities, ground duty and lunch supervision among a smaller staff, if that makes sense.
Speaking right now to Ben Horsley of the Granite School District regarding the demographic crisis that is causing school districts to take serious look at the elementary school level and decide which schools need to stay open and which schools need to close. The Salt Lake City School District, they're meeting tonight about the potential for 7 schools to, maybe not all of them, but some of them may eventually end up closing in that district. Granite, as you just heard Ben say, has had a number of school closures. What does the future hold then for Granite, Ben, at this point? Do you think it eventually trickle up, if you will, to middle and high school closures?
Not at this point in time, and those decisions are decades away. It's important to understand that while the vast majority of Granite District is a mature area, there's not room for new growth, and we have stabilized that portions of Magna and that western portion of the Ochre Mountains will have a tremendous amount of development. And so we actually expect that we'll be opening new schools in those areas. In many of these decisions, it'd be great if we could just pick up a school building and move it to a new location. But obviously that's not how that works. And so we do need to look at closures in more mature areas and look down the road to potential growth in other areas. But this is, again, very normal. Populations do tend to stabilize, again, about 2/3 of their max capacity. And that's where we'll end up. We're going to end up right around 55,000 kids for the long term.
When schools close down, when you close them down, what happens to the property? What do you do with the old school?
Well, I know Granite's philosophy. We closed a high school back in 2009. That was not a great experience. We tried to work with the city, South Salt Lake, to purchase that. There were some difficulties in them getting the funding to be able to do so, and invariably the property turned over to private development and for a new library for the county. That was a one-time benefit to the district of about $10 million of that property. We've decided as a general rule in our district that we're not going to sell property anymore. There's a lot of opportunities. There's one of our school closures, Ochre Hills Elementary, ended up being a lifeboat for one of our other schools while it was getting rebuilt. And we're looking at other opportunities to maintain the open space with local communities. For instance, a couple of schools, Holiday is working with us on Spring Lane Elementary, which was recently closed, to turn it into park space, and they'll maintain it, but we'll still own the land. So there's lots of those kind of conversations happening. In any case, under the law, we always have to give first right of refusal to the local municipality, in this case, the city itself, to purchase the property. So there is that caveat for the land.
But if they refuse, then the district holds on to the property. Is that how it goes, Ben?
We can, and we are choosing to do so, but we could sell it at that point in time to the highest bidder.
Do you rip down the building?
One thing
Sorry, did you rip?
we
tear down the building? Okay.
You can see in a lot of these closure decisions, the building facility condition is a huge issue. And so a lot of times we're closing facilities that we just don't have the ability to rebuild, and it doesn't make sense to do so.
Ben Horsley, thank you for joining us from Granite School District.
Ben brought up a point about small schools aren't necessarily like as amazing as some people might think. I sent my kids to small school for a while, smaller than public elementary. They were in private school. I felt like one of the downsides to it was, Ben kind of touched on it, but it was like if you have those disruptive students and you only have one class per grade, y'all are kind of stuck in the same classroom from kindergarten through 8th grade. You can never, with
the same problems year after year after year.
So in some regards, larger schools, there's some upsides to them.
It's 10:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. 2 Weber County jail inmates have died and a staffer's been arrested, all within 10 days. The Weber County Sheriff's Office says the deaths are tragic medical accidents and have no relation to the case of the staffer charged with distributing the narcotic drug Suboxone to inmates. 4 people have died at the jail since April. The Community Action Services and Food Bank in Provo is struggling to find donations and volunteers. Impact Officer Jessica Miller says many families need the help.
A lot of families that, with housing costs so high, they're having to dip into their food budget to just meet their housing.
The food bank is always accepting donations and volunteers. You can learn how to help at communityactionuc.org. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Hunter Biden's former business partner has testified on Capitol Hill. Here's ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky.
While Democrats say the closed-door testimony proved nothing, Republicans say it shows President Biden lied when he said he never talked business with his son. Archer's attorney saying in a statement, "We are aware that all sides are claiming victory, but all Devin Archer did was show up and answer the questions."
The president's son has been accused of using his access to President Biden as a way of influencing his own business deals. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average down 25 points on the day right now. The NASDAQ down 89. And our KSL weather. The thunderstorms are coming. That's next. KSL News Time 10:32.
We have enough people running around Broadcast House at 4 in the morning to field a football team.
Producers, reporters, the traffic team, and us.
This is Tim and Amanda.
Join us each morning from 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
With the economy the way it is, you're probably staying put. So invest in your home, your number one asset, with beautiful custom replacement windows from Advanced Window Products. They're a local Utah company building beautiful vinyl framed and insulated double pane windows for 37 years right here in Salt Lake City. Advanced Window Products will save you money on your energy bill. Get security features to keep your family safe. And at Advanced Window Products, it's all custom. And the best part? They're local. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. So there's no middleman markup. You save on the highest quality windows in Utah. Plus, Rocky Mountain and Dominion offer rebates. For a limited time, they offer 60-month 0% financing. And right now, get $2,000 off 10 windows or more. They're working 8 weeks out. So make the call now. Advanced Window Products, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100 or visit AdvancedWindowsUSA.com.
Filing your taxes can be difficult, and every year seems to bring even greater challenges. As you prepare for tax season, potential audits, employee retention credits, and child tax credits are just a few things that may be on your mind. Certified public accountants are the trusted advisors you can rely on to address your specific tax needs. As you try to make sense of tax filing this year, know that your CPA receives constant training and updates throughout the year. CPAs are an integral part of tax policy conversations in Utah as well. Along with extensive tax expertise, CPAs also provide personal financial planning, business growth strategies, and general accounting services. Hire a CPA for the best in tax planning. Listen to KSL every Monday for tax tips from the UACPA. Go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. That's uacpa.org.
If you've had painful kidney stones, you know you don't want more. Moonstone Stone Stopper is a simple solution that works. Created and recommended by top kidney stone doctors, Stone Stopper is an alkali citrate formula scientifically proven to prevent crystallization. Stone Stopper's patented formula is gentle on the stomach and is available in easy-to-swallow capsules, gummies, and powder drinks that make hydration delicious. Stone Stopper is available at participating Walmart and Walgreens stores. Look for the red stop sign on the bottom shelf of the vitamin aisle. For more information or to find a store near you, go to stonestopper.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Granite Credit Union's High Yield Savings Certificates. Here's Heather Keller.
Well, things are looking great all across the Wasatch Front. We are still trying to clean up a crash westbound I-80 right at the exit to State Street, but all the vehicles are over on the right shoulder. They're not causing any slowing in the area. You just want to use caution as you pass by, heading toward I-15. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, today's high 92 will be the warmest of the coming week. Mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon and tomorrow. Right now, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. your all-day companion for news.
Right on the money. Special coverage with Dave and Dujanovic.
Welcome to August. The kids are like, no, because they know it's coming. It's right around the corner. School is right around the corner, so that means lots of parents taking their kids out school shopping. And I love this report that the KSL5 investigative team did, Matt Gephardt and producers Sloan Schrag, on saving money on school supplies and shopping at different stores to compare if they got a better deal at, let's say, Walmart compared to Smith's, compared to Dollar General. And they even did some shopping online, Dave.
How do I get caught off guard every single year and how much it costs to get my kids to school? School fees, school clothes,
crayons,
new pair of shoes,
crayons,
some
backpack,
crayons.
And they want a new backpack every single year. KSL5 investigative reporter Matt Gephardt starts us off. In a moment, we're going to break it all down.
For the third year in a row, the KSL investigators hit the same 5 stores: Walmart, Target, Smith's, Dollar General, and Amazon. And we shopped the exact same back-to-school shopping list that was given to us by a local elementary teacher. Pencils, erasers, rulers, loose-leaf paper, spiral notebooks, 3-ring binders, backpacks, scientific calculators, glue sticks, scissors, and a water bottle. The rules of our annual test are simple enough. Get everything on the list, spending as little as possible.
I didn't hear Trapper Keeper. Why even do this if you're not going to get a Trapper Keeper?
Sloan Schrag, KSL5 investigative producer, works side by side with KSL5's Matt Gephardt. Sloan, did you do the shopping?
I did some of the shopping. I did look for Trapper Keepers, but I couldn't go back to 1985, Dave. I'm sorry.
But you stuck to this list that a teacher gave you, which is obviously a sensible list of things that kids need for school supplies. And you hit, was it 5 different stores?
That's correct. 5 different retailers.
So what did your research bear out?
Well, I'll get to the brunt of it. The inflation that really hit us hard last year just wasn't as present as it was last year. We found price increases when we went back to Target. It's about 13% more than it was the year before. But the year before that was like 25%. So it was a cool down inflation. At Smith's, it ticked up just like 0.5%.
Okay.
At Amazon and actually at the Dollar General, it dropped. By
prices were cheaper.
Prices were cheaper this year than they were last year.
What about Walmart?
Walmart was very slight increase, like less than 2% increase in that same list.
So if you're measuring inflation by school supplies, it's not as over the top as it has been in years past.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, part of the reason I love that you guys have done this for so many years and continue to look at this is we almost need to look at it not necessarily just from year to year, but what's it look like over a 2 or 3 year period? Because if you do have these skyrocketing jumps one year, then if it goes up at all next year, you're still building on that big price from last year.
Yeah, and inflation didn't go away, this year for sure. It's still increased. It's a little bit higher than it was, but not near as drastic as the year before. But at the same time, compared to 3 years ago, you're paying a lot more out of your wallet, and you probably didn't get that cost of living adjustment from your employer. You probably didn't get 33% increase in your salary, so it's still hurting your wallet a little bit.
Are there certain supplies that you notice that were costing more and kind of driving the total price up a little bit?
That was kind of unexpected. We were expecting to see at least one driver that would really boost the cost, but we didn't find that in this. Most everything was kind of like backpacks. They stayed the exact same price at Dollar General and Target the year before. At Walmart and Smith's, they're a little bit more pricier, but they weren't like super increased in prices. So there was not like one big driving item.
That's one of the things when I get that list, and we've all received that list from a local teacher. Hey, these are the supplies that your kid needs. Also, if you wouldn't mind donating to the classroom, this is what the classroom needs. But it's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts. There are so many things. How many items did you have on this? Was it just a handful of things that you were looking at, or was this a pretty substantial list?
It was not an exhaustive list. It was 12 items. Basically, it was kind of the bare essentials. This, as Matt was saying in the report, the scientific calculator, erasers, pencils, and that sort of thing. But when you include electronics and clothes, then yeah, that list would probably get much more expensive.
Sloan Trigg, investigative producer with Matt Gephardt, they looked into the cost of school supplies off of a list a teacher had given them that our kids need when they go back to school, and many of them are going back to school very soon. All right. I always love to hear about, like, when you compare and price shop different stores, like what the total was for all the supplies at each of the stores. Do you have that breakdown with you?
Actually, I do. And
okay, because I want to know which store was the better deal. That's honestly, like, you know me. I'm always saving pennies, Sloan. We've worked together for years,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If you're... Yeah, I know you're always looking for the best deals in Trapper Keepers. So, but the Dollar General was the cheapest. It was $25.08
for all the supplies.
For all the supplies. That same list, we shopped at Target. That was our most expensive store. That was $58.96.
Okay, wait. So go back and compare Dollar General to Target again, just now.
$25 for Dollar General, $58 for Target.
Wow. So it's more than double at Target.
More than double.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
But, there were some in-betweens. Smith's is about $57. If you shop at Walmart, it's $35.
Oh, okay.
And in Amazon, that list was $54. So a couple in the $35, $25, but most were in like the mid-50s.
Okay. I'm just going to take an impromptu little poll here. If you were to get the Trapper Keeper, would you get the hot air balloon Trapper Keeper, the neon heart Trapper Keeper, or the glitter galaxy?
Oh, glitter galaxy.
None of the above, Dave. I looked for the Transformers Trapper Keeper.
Okay.
That was boss.
If you are wondering, the Trapper Keeper now is $25 per Trapper Keeper.
Where did you find these?
Mead.com, buddy.
Sloan, what was your takeaway?
The takeaway is that inflation's still a factor, but it's not near as present as it was the year before. But,
where you shop matters, too.
Where you shop matters, and how you shop. And we talk about these big lists. You don't have to buy everything right away before school starts. And we spoke to a shopping expert. Basically, she was telling us that, it might be best to buy some of the essentials, but hold off on, like, the clothes and the backpacks and the Trapper Keepers. Because, the students, when they see what people are wearing in the hallways or what they have on their shoulders, they may want that, and you can't get that if you've blown your budget already before school started.
I think that's important, is set that budget and stick to it.
Right.
Well, that's genius. I hadn't even thought about that, but you're absolutely right. I've totally been there where you purchase everything because you're going to be ready for day one, and then you get there, and the kids are like, everybody's wearing this, or everyone's got a glitter galaxy paint splatter Trapper Keeper, and now all of a sudden you've got to spend even more, or
so
go
when you were
without.
shopping, were you noticing like the backpack quality, for example? So I'm thinking Dollar General backpack quality versus Target backpack quality. Were you feeling like you were getting a better quality depending on where you shopped?
Well, I looked at the backpacks, individually, and I think that the Dollar General backpack, it's $5, and so it may not be as durable as the $15 backpack at Target. But even at the Target,
but that was the only price. The price difference was only $10.
Yeah, so it's not that drastic.
Okay,
and I imagine they'll last you a year. It's not if you're buying a $100 backpack, they'll probably last you a lot longer. But I think maybe the quality is fairly comparable, but I'm not certain.
Did I tell you where I get my backpacks? You don't know?
No.
I see you shopping at Walmart, and you don't know where I get my backpacks?
I didn't see you shopping for backpacks that day.
I get them secondhand at secondhand stores.
That's actually a good
People
place.
dispose of them, give them to secondhand stores when they have the tags still on them.
And
they win them at events and that kind of thing.
Right.
And so I shop. That's it. There you go. There's a pro tip for
That's
you.
a great tip. And
Yeah.
maybe another one is maybe start your shopping at home. See what you've got already in stock. Maybe the clothes that they wore last year are still usable this year, or the backpack, you can wash and clean it out.
Let me tell you, one of my biggest wins is there was this little retro move where the kids all of a sudden wanted to have like Sonic the Hedgehog in high school. I'm like, that's awesome. Little brother, you're passing that one up to big brother. It was a great win.
Very good.
Thanks, Sloan.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Did you know Utah has just one all-new station in the morning?
It's this one, weekday mornings between 5 and 9.
Start your days with us. We're Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
Your morning companions for news.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
When it's hot like this, air conditioners struggle to keep up. Parts are under more stress, and sometimes those parts fail. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and no one helps more homeowners maintain and repair their air conditioners than Any Hour Services. As a matter of fact, last year, over 32,000 homeowners called Any Hour Services for help maintaining and repairing their systems. Any Hour Services has over 100 HVAC technicians to help with everything from maintenance, repair, to installing a new system. This summer, there'll be a lot of people told they need to replace their air conditioner, and they'll wonder, do I really need to? If you're told you need to replace your air conditioner and you still have questions, Any Hour Services can give you a second opinion and let you know what options are available. Maybe it just needs a little maintenance or a small repair. Maybe it does need to be replaced, but if you don't feel good about being told you need to replace your air conditioner, don't ignore those feelings. Call Any Hour Services for help with air conditioner maintenance, repair, or to schedule a free second opinion. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
The time to save thousands upon thousands on a Newmar Class A gas and diesel motorhome is now. The place to go? General RV. During our Newmar Motorhome Days sales event, August 2nd through the 5th. This sale is all about elevating your travel experience and big savings with factory rebates on select Newmar models like the Duckstar, Vantana, Baystar, and more. The time is now and only at General RV. In Draper, off I-15.
At Shields, we know luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, which means that during the season, the only element of the hunt that we actually control is the work we put in and the gear we trust. So stop by the Shields sale event July 29th through August 6th and save on brands like Vortex, Raven, Benchmade, and select Shields Outfitters gear. Our Shields experts are ready to prepare you for success on your next adventure. Shields, earn your moment.
Dave and Debbie.
One of my favorite things about Debbie is when we're in the middle of an interview, a light flips on and there's something that she picked out. I call it her spidey sense. And then she just tenaciously goes after that line of questioning. If someone tries to spin it, she's respectful, but she's firm. And she won't let you go with just that easy, trite answer. She's going to get down to the bottom of it, and I love it.
I've always been impressed with Dave's ability to go back in his memory bank and drag out factual details from previous interviews, weeks, months, even years ago. It is phenomenal to watch that happen because it adds so much context to our coverage in the moment. Dave's got it all right up here in his brain, and that's impressive.
This is a thing that Debbie does not do well. On-the-fly math.
I agree. So one thing I agree with him on.
Listen for Dave and Dujanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, there have been 2 inmate deaths in the Weber County Jail in the past 10 days. County authorities say these had nothing to do with the staffer's arrest on suspicion of drug dealing. Second, the Provo Food Bank is looking for some extra help this summer. Third, after bringing an associate of Hunter Biden in to testify to a Republican inquiry in Congress, Hunter, the president's son, being accused of lying about using access to his dad to get business. Right now, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
The trial of Lori Vallow Daybell. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
The judge sentenced Lori Vallow Daybell yesterday to 3 back-to-back life sentences without the possibility of parole. And I thought this was I wouldn't say it was a bold move by him. I felt like that's kind of where he was going the entire time as he started to deliver his logic behind the sentences. I thought it was an important move for all of the family members who were there in court. And I'll tell you why in a moment.
Well, in part, and I was kind of grateful he did it. And he described and he explained why he made that decision. He said these were 3 different murders at 3 different times, and they deserve 3 different punishments.
So she'll never get out of prison. She will serve life without the possibility of parole. And I know you're always so reserved to talk about this, Dave, and I appreciate that. So I don't want to kind of hit you with this out of the blue. But having had your aunt and your grandmother murdered many, many years ago, I cannot imagine the wear and tear and the toll that it takes on a family. And I'm not suggesting that your family, because there was this moment in court yesterday when we were listening to the sentencing that some of the family members got up and were talking about how it's absolutely torn their whole family apart. I imagine the exhaustion, the mental pull on them. I could see this happening, and I thought, unfortunately, there's nobody on this earth who would understand that better than you.
That happened to our family. There was a fracturing in the family. Some people dealt with the loss and the tragedy better than others. Some have never recovered. But as you said, when the judge made that pronouncement, is there a sense of relief from the victims? And I'll share a text I exchanged with my mom. She said, "Don't worry, Dave. She will have lawyers pleading her cause and appealing the unfairness of this for the rest of her life."
Which is what you've gone through.
Which is exactly what we've gone through.
Yeah.
Appeal after appeal.
Of total strangers.
Because
who murdered your grandmother and aunt,
total
strangers.
Yeah, total strangers.
And you have to deal with them over and over and over again.
Yeah, and it will never end.
Yeah.
And that's part of the injustice system. When you hear the judge make this pronouncement, and it sounds very harsh, it is life in prison without the possibility of parole 3 times over. That being said, the reality of what is going to happen is this family is going to be dragged back into court with every appeal. They're going to be updated by the AG's office. They're going to be constantly reminded and dragged, and that scab is going to be ripped off. As soon as it starts to heal, they hit you with it again.
Our Hugo Ricard Bell spoke to Rex Connor. He is Lori's uncle after the sentencing. I want to play part of that and listen to the things that he said. And talk about just being torn apart by what your niece has done.
And I'm JJ and Tylee's great uncle, meaning I'm Lori's uncle, her mother's brother.
Sure. Rex, must be a bittersweet sort of feeling on considering your position in the family. How are you feeling today?
Well, just coming out of the courtroom, it's a little raw, and the overriding feeling is still rage from what Lori, not only what she's done, but the attitude she portrayed today. I'm just enraged by that. So I'm sure that'll subside, and the feelings that rage covers up will come out, but I don't know what those are yet.
Sure. And just on that, what was your take on her own? I mean, it's the first time we've heard from her at all during this whole case.
Yeah. My take. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it. It's a combination of her arrogance, her stupidity, her complete lack of regard for other people, her... I just don't know what to make of that.
Rex, I'm interested on your opinion of some of what her defense attorney made comments about.
Yeah, her defense attorneys, look what they had to work with. They had nothing to work with, and they did the best they could, so I admire that. I don't like the approach they took, but what other approach could they take?
Sure.
I mean, so I just have to admire what they've done. I think they've done a tremendous job for having nothing to work with.
That was our very own Hugo Ricard Bell with an interview with Rex Connor, who's Lori's uncle, after that sentencing took place yesterday in Idaho. And he was specifically kind of referencing what Lori had said during her hearing yesterday when she spoke. When the judge asked her, do you have anything you want to say before she was sentenced?
I've had many angelic visitors have come and communicated with me and even manifested themselves to me. Because of these communications, I know for a fact that my children are happy and busy in the spirit world.
No remorse,
because
no
of my
apologies.
communications with my friends.
Just talking about how her kids loved her and she loves them and they didn't want her to worry anymore. So you can see why the uncle would come out of court and be as frustrated as he was.
Yeah, rage, how he described it. Hugo Ricard Bell joins us right now, KSL News Radio reporter who was in Idaho covering this. And Hugo,
where they are?
I think as you were talking to this uncle, you could feel that sense of rage, but maybe even a sense of relief. But one of the things that was brought up several times yesterday in court was how this had fractured the family. Did he discuss more about what that was and how that happened?
Yeah, Dave, he really did. He spoke, because I asked him about Colby Ryan, again, someone who, I mean, what a tough, like,
That's
tough
Lori's
just doesn't
son,
describe
right?
it.
Colby's
Yeah.
Lori's son, yeah.
An older brother of JJ and Tylee. I mean, where he sits, the push and pull he must feel, his own mother convicted crimes against his own brother and sister. And, what I took away from Rex was that Rex seems to be the one who's taken upon himself to be there at the trial, to be there for media, for that part of the family, because he is right in the middle of it. And he was exhausted. And, let's not forget, this isn't done for them. This is one part of it is finished. And like you guys were saying earlier, it's going to go on forever, but they've still got to go through Chad's, whether Chad has a trial or not, or whether he pleads, that's yet to be determined. But, they've got to go through that.
Did he seem really pretty drained after yesterday's sentencing to you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, everyone did. That cheering you heard in the background of the interview was actually when Larry Woodcock walked out and went up to do his press conference and that sort of thing. And everyone involved was just, exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And Rex, at the end of the interview, got a little bit emotional and that sort of thing. And so you could just really tell, I can't imagine what their evening after would be like with their family.
Hugo Ricard Bell, thank you for joining us, KSL News Radio reporter that was in Idaho covering this sentencing. Thanks for joining us.
Larry Woodcock, of course, is JJ's grandfather, and he was obviously in court. Kay Woodcock, his grandmother, spoke on behalf as his designated representative. And draining, Dave. And you, like I said in the beginning of this, unfortunately, you know that better than anybody that I've ever known.
And I wish I could tell the family that it gets easier from here. Time passes, but there's still a lot of rough days ahead for this family, and I wish them the best.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. Listen on the KSL News Radio app and in your car at 102.7 FM. KSL News Radio, your all-day companion for news.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Several school districts in Salt Lake County are dealing with declining enrollment numbers. That means more schools will have to close. Granite District spokesperson Ben Horsley says this is a normal ebb and flow.
It'd be great if we could just pick up a school building and move it to a new location, but obviously that's not how that works. And so we do need to look at closures in more mature areas and look down the road to potential growth in other areas.
Horsley speaking to David Dujanovic. The Salt Lake School Board is holding meetings tonight to discuss the study of several potential school closures in their district. Will we have record heat again as our kids head back to school this year? Well, National Weather Service meteorologist Hayden Mahan tells us what the forecast typically looks like.
Average temperatures for that time of year here in the next 3 to 4 weeks are going to be low 90s, upper 80s.
Mahan says we could be a few degrees higher than average, but he doesn't expect triple digits like we had last year. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. All eyes on the federal courthouse in Washington as the grand jury investigating the January 6th attack convenes once more. Possible criminal charges expected any day now for former President Trump. ABC News legal analyst and attorney Jeffrey Robbins explains why this case has taken some time to come together for the special counsel's office.
The Espionage Act case being tried in Florida looks like a slip and fall in terms of relative complexity next to this January 6th charge. So he's looking at a series of felony charges of significant magnitude and consequence for him if he's convicted.
The Atlanta district attorney may also be ready to issue an indictment accusing Trump of trying to interfere with the election results in her state. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average is back into positive territory, up 23 points right now, while the NASDAQ is down 47. And our KSL weather. Looks like thunderstorms are going to be happening over the next several days. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:02.
Start your days with knowledgeable, friendly voices telling you about the latest news and weather out there.
Hi, this is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
In the business of waking you up each morning from 5 to 9.
On KSL News Radio.
At Fisher Investments, our clients know we have their backs.
How do your clients know that?
Because Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, the highest standard for a financial advisor. It means we're there for our clients and always put their interests first.
So wait, you do it because you have to?
No, we do it because it's the right thing to do. Our clients trust us with their retirement savings, and we know how important that responsibility is. So we take the time to really get to know them.
Get to know them how?
We make sure we understand their unique goals, finances, health, family, and lifestyle so we can tailor their portfolio to their specific needs. Our goal is to help them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Sounds like a big responsibility. You must make big commissions then, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We have one single transparent fee that's structured so we do better when our clients do better. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you are switching to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, Derek Overstreet here from the New Millennium Group, financial advisors in Utah. You know, I've been helping people retire in the state of Utah for the last 20 years. The way we do that is we actually find out what is important to you. We create a step-by-step plan that takes into consideration your income, your debt, whether you want money from real estate, stock market, annuities, life insurance, whatever. If you want to deal with professionals, people that are fiduciaries and have a legal responsibility and obligation to do what's in your best interest, give my team a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Or go to my website, utahsfinancialplanner.com. If you'd like to retire 3 to 5 years before you thought it was possible, give my team a call right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370.
Hey guys, if you're a patient at another Wave clinic for ED, Revive will transfer your care for free. And for those that medically qualify, we'll give you 4 Wave treatments for free, plus a 1-month supply of ED medication when you start Wave treatment with us. Our Renaissance Wave therapy is proven, non-invasive, and far more affordable than other Wave clinics. Book your consultation today. Call 801-263-7777. That's 801-263-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. But not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's High Yield Savings Certificates. Here's Ricky Meese.
2 crashes on the 21st South Freeway, both on the eastbound side. The first one happened near 30th West, not far from the West Belt. You have a vehicle to the left and right shoulders. Our latest one is eastbound SR 201 at 1300 West, not far from Redwood Road, and that's also out of traffic to the left. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, it looks like we'll see a thunderstorm possibly this afternoon and more of the same by tomorrow. Today's high should be around 92, and then it'll cool off for the next several days. Right now, 81 degrees and mostly cloudy at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Your all-day companion for news.
Dave and Dujanovic have inside sources.
We're going to ask Boyd in just a moment if he remembers this commercial.
The club slice, toasted. Another hamburger, and a little more sauce just for good flavor. Crisp dill pickles and the sesame seed crown.
Oh, yeah. 2 all-beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. But this was the precursor commercial to the commercial we all remember,
toasted.
right?
Another hamburger, and a little more sauce just for good flavor. Crisp dill pickles and the sesame seed crown.
Recently, the FDA mandated warning labels on food products containing sesame seeds. So now restaurants and food producers are I don't know why this is happening. Boyd's going to have to explain it to me. Why are they putting sesame seeds in everything now?
Okay,
is this like government working backwards? Unintended consequences.
I'm jumping in. Yes.
Of regulating sesame seeds. I guess it's an allergen, probably.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
assuming that's like a peanut thing.
Let me tell you, everyone's got a kid or they have somebody that's got allergies. My son is allergic to everything. When he was a baby, how about this? How about this for a diet? He was allergic to wheat and corn, eggs. I mean, it was like, here, buddy, have some rice checks. Enjoy them. Like, trust me, I get allergies. All the nut allergies, he's got them all. But do you know what we do? We avoid those foods. You know, we find out, hey, does this have it?
Yeah, we have that going on in our family too. And you avoid everything, like kind of like the plague, because it's going to be serious. It's not like, gut it up. It could actually stop somebody's ability to breathe.
Yeah, and every once in a while, we miss one.
Yep.
We miss one. He has a reaction.
I remember you came in to work one day and you said it happened.
Yeah.
You know.
It's happened. Anyone that has folks, or if you deal with it, everybody is like, oh, this is totally fine. Or you ask somebody, hey, is this food all right? And no, it's not all right.
You were listening to Boyd's show yesterday and you caught this story.
Yeah, Boyd, okay, so obviously sesame seeds are the latest peanut, apparently. So what's the idea about putting sesame seeds in everything?
Okay, so this is one of those classic, and I have a granddaughter who has major allergies, so we get it. When you're looking at trying to figure out where do you go out to eat, what do you do? It can be a real challenge. And so obviously there are people who are allergic to sesame seeds. And so the FDA, in their wisdom, says we now have to label if you have sesame seed in your product or if there's a potential for cross-contamination. Now, for someone with allergies, you want that on the label. You want that to be sure. The thing that didn't happen is this is where government always gets sideways. They do this sweeping thing without really looking at what's the ripple effect of this going to be. Mm-hmm. And so places like Chick-fil-A, Olive Garden, a host of other restaurants, rather than risk being penalized or getting a fine or a fee from the FDA because they didn't either label something, could possibly have sesame seed in it, or might possibly be in a space where there could be cross-contamination, they flipped the script and just said, we're going to stick it in everything and just stick it on the label. It's easier for us, it's safer, it's a better business move, and it's a better legal move than trying to constantly fight the FDA about whether there was a cross-contamination with sesame seeds. So the net result, the very people that we're trying to help, those who are allergic to sesame seeds, now have fewer options. Because on all those labels, it says may contain sesame seeds.
Sesame seeds are so doggone small.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to pick that thing out of a salad. Maybe a peanut you could, but not. That's incredible.
Yeah.
They're just assuming that just everything is cross-contaminated. Do not eat here if you have a sesame seed allergy.
Yeah. Because it's a safer business move for a business than to run the risk of going head-to-head with the FDA.
Even though they probably have food on their menu that doesn't have sesame seeds, that somebody, even with the allergy, would be totally fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's still safer. It's still a better business move to not run the risk of a lawsuit, of penalties and fines from the FDA. So just throw on every label, may contain sesame seeds.
Can we serve up some solutions here? What would be a solution to this, in your view, Boyd?
So I think part of it, Debbie, is when we have things that are done just by these executive branch agencies. One of the interesting things that came up in a congressional hearing, they were talking to the head of the FDA, and he said, we didn't envision that there would be any of these downstream ripple effects. Now, that statement is stunning to me. Who was in the room? You're telling me nobody at the FDA thought, oh, what businesses will likely do is just put sesame seed in everything. Surely they saw that. And so part of it is to make sure you've got a process within the FDA. Congress has to do its job in terms of oversight and doing those kinds of things. But some of it's just common sense stuff from the FDA. When they're trying to regulate everything, they often end up hurting the very people they say that they're trying to help. In this case, those who are allergic to sesame seeds.
What makes this so incredibly difficult, and I'm not trying to say that sesame seed allergies don't exist or peanut allergies.
Sure.
Of course they do. But somebody is allergic to every single item on your menu. Like trust me, there is a flour issue. There is a latex issue. There are allergies to absolutely everything. Should we be labeling everything?
Yeah.
Because I would have to label every single ingredient.
That's right. And some people are allergic to listening to my voice, and so we have to put a label on it.
But we can turn you off. You can't, I'm
and
kidding.
You cannot go to Chick-fil-A.
May contain a comment from Boyd.
I'm just deep in thought over here because I don't know what the right answer is. I agree that the FDA shouldn't be making decisions and then going before Congress and being like, hey, we didn't know that this was going to cause this. There's unintended consequences for government decisions. But what is the ultimate? Like, do you just have allergen-free only restaurants, and who's opening that restaurant?
Right.
Because
Dave,
you bring up a good point.
It couldn't exist.
You bring up a good point. My daughter has celiac disease, so we got to make sure we have gluten-free everywhere we go. Thankfully, there are a lot of places that do gluten-free. I have other family members who are allergic to peanuts and almonds and
milk,
tree
dairy,
nuts.
and
I used to have actually had a milk allergy for a while that fortunately I outgrew. But it's what is the solution? And I don't know we're going to have any answers today for what is the solution that people with food allergies can know what has what in it, but can still enjoy a night on the town once in a while.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't keep them behind closed doors in their own house forever.
Yeah, we'd all be behind closed doors at our homes.
And then there's an issue of cross-contamination.
Well, and cross-contamination is very, very difficult because then you can't live, right? Because there's always going to be
something that spills
somewhere, right? Yeah. There's going to be. Boyd has peanut M&Ms. He has the audacity.
There's peanut oil. I mean, somebody's cooking something in peanut oil, and you're allergic to peanuts.
Yeah. And we've seen this on some of the airlines as well. You've seen it on a lot of airlines.
Yeah.
They've reduced the peanut snacks, but yet you can bring your dog on or your cat as a service animal. And
well, people are allergic to dogs and
I'm
cats.
allergic to dogs.
Exactly.
I just saw a friend post on Facebook. She's like, I want to get a cat, but are there any allergy-free cats? And I'm just like, well, is it worth getting a cat at the?
I was going to get Dave a private plane so he could.
The hairless cat.
Boyd, you can listen to Boyd every day right here from 1 to 3, and also if you want to listen to his entire podcast and his interview that he did on sesame seed, on the ban of sesame seeds, or
the labeling
of sesame
requirement.
seeds. You can catch it on your favorite podcast platform. But Boyd, thank you. You brought food for thought today.
Food
for thought today.
So hungry. Am I the only one? Yeah. Whether it's the Big Mac or the sesame chicken, I need something.
Next, boy, you got to keep an ear to the speaker out there. We're going to be talking about Ron DeSantis and his drop in the polls. I know you've told us it doesn't matter. The delegates matter. We're still going to talk about it anyways with 538 next.
Dave and Dujanovic. Hi, it's Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
Why should you start your day with us?
We have decades of news experience between us.
And we take your trust seriously.
Come here for news tomorrow, 5 to 9.
On KSL.
Before you head to work, before you hit the gym,
keep going, that's it.
Before you make your way home,
Bye.
Get a quick check on traffic and weather.
PD on the scene at 8 South and West Temple.
Highway 89 also really backed up. Listen every 10 minutes on the 9s, in your car at 102.7 FM, or tell Alexa, play KSL News Radio.
Premium checking from America First Credit Union is so much more than a regular checking account. It's a saves you money, makes life easier, always has your back account. Because it's absolutely loaded with fantastic benefits and features. In fact, it comes stocked with so much awesome stuff. It was voted Best Perks by Money.com. So make sure you're rocking more than a checking account. Head to America First and apply for the exclusive protection, perks, and paybacks of premium checking today. Subject to membership eligibility and conditions. Federally insured by NCUA. Since 1939, America First has been helping people pursue their financial goals. And as we have, we've become one of the largest credit unions in the country. The reason why is simple. It's because every day we do our very best to help each person, family, and business we serve to realize their individual dreams and achieve financial well-being. True to our name, we always strive to put our members and employees first. So come join us and let us put you first. America First Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey, Brighton Bengals class of 73. It's time for the 50-year class reunion on Saturday, September 9th from 5 to 10 p.m. at the Hidden Valley Country Club. You can RSVP by visiting us at www.brighton73.com or find us on Facebook. Come on out, reconnect, and enjoy a great evening together. We'll see you then.
Made to Shine. Real stories from Shane Company customers.
I was 20 years old, stationed in Hawaii, and 2 weeks before I was deployed, I met the love of my life. The second I returned, I bought a cheap ring at the Base Exchange and proposed. 15 years later, I went to Shane Company and got her a one-of-a-kind ring with a pear-shaped diamond. It's the ring she deserves.
Shine forever with Shane Company's hand-selected diamonds, as unique as your love story. Shane Company, fine jewelry since 1929.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Do you have neck or back pain? New Spine Chiropractic can help. Take advantage of this special offer, only valid this week. Schedule your appointment and receive a free adjustment along with a free hydrotherapy treatment for the entire family. New Spine is located inside the shops at Fort Union. This offer is good for this week only, so schedule a free adjustment and receive a free hydrotherapy treatment. Go to newspine.com/Utah. That's nuspine.com/Utah. New Spine Chiropractic at Fort Union.
Jeff Caplan. I'm originally from New Jersey. It's a little different than Utah. Oh, okay. It's a lot different than Utah. You understand what I'm saying here? I first came here on a date. I had an employee who lived in Utah, and I said, that girl, I think I'm going to meet her, and it's tax deductible. I never left. I've never left. I've been here for going on 15 years now, and we've been married for 12. I've been around the block in the radio business. I've worked for a lot of major companies. There are none with the commitment to the community that I found at KSL. There are none with the camaraderie of the staff that I found at KSL. And there are none with the commitment of management and the company to the safety, the health, the welfare of their staff. And I just love this place.
Ride Home with Jeff Caplan, weekdays 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bonas. First, Granite and Salt Lake City school districts both looking at closing schools because of declining enrollment. Second, the start of the school year may not be quite as hot as it was last August. And third, a new indictment against President Trump in the January 6th attack on the Capitol could come out as soon as today. Right now, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
The Race for the White House. Special coverage on KSL News Radio.
Can you believe we have the deep voice guy, the Race for the White House. Here we are. How many months and months and months out are we? We're all in. We're all in on the Race for the White House. Most recent poll has former President Donald Trump commanding lead. I mean, you read this on the New York Times, and you can see this anywhere. I saw some really curious data we're going to talk about right now with 538 on 538's website. So Trump running away with Republican support right now. He's got 54%, Dave.
Yeah, it's only about 10 percentage points more than what he's kind of always had with Republicans. So it's not a huge jump for Donald Trump. What's surprising is the number two, the runner-up.
He'd probably say, please don't call me number two.
Yeah. The number two, who was briefly number one, was Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. His has dropped from about 45% down to 17% over the last 8 months. Now, this isn't really a free fall collapse. This is more like the air in a leaky tire. That over their 8 months, it's just slowly gotten flatter and flatter and flatter.
Yeah, I see it as like he's skiing down a ski hill not well, and he can't quite pizza to stop. You know what I mean? Like he's just kind of starting to fly down. He's starting to fly down the hill a little faster than I thought he had a chance, Dave. When he came out of the gates, I thought maybe there's this chance. Maybe he would be the heir apparent for the Republican Party. But things have started to dwindle and fall apart quickly. I mean, he just got rid of a whole bunch of his staff. But you're saying that he's still more popular than the others in the field, right?
He's 5-6 times more popular than the third most popular Republican, not named Donald Trump. So Mike Pence, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, whoever it might be. Nathaniel Rakich joins us right now from 538. Nathaniel, is it fair to say it's been a leaky tire, just getting flatter and flatter over the last several months?
Yeah, I like that metaphor. It seems like the more that Americans and Republicans get to know Ron DeSantis, the less they like him. As you mentioned, there was a period over the winter. Donald Trump wasn't doing so great. We were kind of coming off the 2022 elections, which were generally seen as a rebuke to him. A lot of the candidates he endorsed for Senate, for example, had lost. And Ron DeSantis, of course, won re-election in Florida by about 20 points. And they were about tied in the national polls. But since, Ron DeSantis has gotten some more media scrutiny since announcing his campaign, he has really fallen in those polls, as you mentioned. According to our average, he's currently at only 15% nationally, which is well below the 40% that he started at.
I think part of what surprises me about this is when he first won the governorship in Florida, he won by, I think, less than a percentage point. It was very, very narrow. And then once Floridians got to know him better after his first term, they overwhelmingly loved him and elected him in, as you said, this blowout victory in Florida. Why did that not translate here on a national scale?
Yeah, it's a good question. Well, I think, first of all, the election in Florida was, a lot of Democrats stayed home in that election. Obviously, the Republican primary doesn't include Democrats, but, I think it's important to note that was mostly the Republicans who were supporting him there. I think, obviously he's not running against Donald Trump is the simple answer, or he wasn't running against Donald Trump in 2022. I think that Republicans think Ron DeSantis is perfectly fine, but when compared to Trump, who is someone who's very charismatic, which is not something that DeSantis is usually called. Trump is, very good with people and, in terms of, campaign stops. Ron DeSantis kind of has had a few viral moments of him kind of awkwardly interacting with voters. He's just not as good at the retail politics aspect of it. When going up against somebody who is kind of a unique political talent, he's not doing as well.
Nathaniel Rakich with 538. polling organization that really takes a deep dive into a lot of the data, aggregates the polls that are out there to see where the candidates stand. And I noticed, I was looking at 538's website this weekend and analyzing. So Ron DeSantis, I don't know if you're aware of this, Nathaniel, he visited Utah about a week and a half ago. It was on a Friday afternoon up at the state capitol. And at that point, I looked at your poll numbers there. It showed that he was averaging about 20% in Republican primary kind of support, in Republican support. And then he's asked a question about the curriculum, the slavery curriculum that had just been unveiled in Florida, where there's been a lot of controversy about that curriculum. And the kind of doubles down on it, doesn't really denounce it, but then that spins up into a major national news story over the weekend. And within a week, that number had dropped to like 15% support. Is this a case where the more he talks, as you said earlier, the numbers continue to slide? I wondered if those comments that he made, or not denouncing that new curriculum, had any impact on that slide within a week's time after leaving Utah.
Yeah, it could be. It's really hard to kind of assign a reason to these like polling slides, right? So it could be that it was a reaction to those comments. It could be that it's just kind of a continuation of this long-term trend, down from 40 to 30 to 20 last week to now 15. It could also be because of something else in the race. So, for example, maybe Trump, was helped by the report the other day about his potential looming third indictment. And so supporters are going from DeSantis to Trump, not because there's something wrong with DeSantis, but because they want to support Trump. So there are a lot of potential reasons for it, but I certainly don't think that helped him.
I do wonder how many of these candidates are really running for second, assuming that at some point Donald Trump's going to have to step out, or folks will lose favorability, or they'll lose patience. I don't know. They don't think he'll be able to win. There's not an electability factor. Is running for second a viable strategy right now?
Yeah, I think it is. Like for some of these other candidates, like you mentioned, Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Vivek Ramaswamy, seems like, Ron DeSantis is weak, and it seems like, the title of like Trump alternative or runner-up is definitely on the line. And I think, Ron DeSantis is unique in that he and Trump have butted heads recently. And so, I'm not sure that he would be in line for, to be Trump's vice president, for example, but it would be easy to see someone like Nikki Haley or Vivek Ramaswamy being Trump's vice presidential pick. So, they might be hoping that, they can make a name for themselves, maybe not, stepped on too many toes with regard to Trump. And then, maybe bow out graciously after Iowa or something like that, and then end up on the ticket anyway.
Is there a Republican who you see kind of coming from behind at this point that's gaining ground more rapidly than the others in the field, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I think I'd keep an eye on Vivek Ramaswamy, who has, kind of proven popular with his message of like an American nationalism. He's rising in the national polls. I think he's in third place right now after DeSantis. And then I'd also keep an eye on Tim Scott, who's really been focusing on the early states like Iowa and New Hampshire, and he's reached double digits in the polls there. And obviously you can kind of sneak up on the field if, you finish, say, second in Iowa and then, second in New Hampshire, and all of a sudden, you'll be seen as the main alternative to Trump. So, those are the two candidates who I think have a lot of potential still.
Nathaniel Rakich, thank you for joining us from 538.
Thanks, Nathaniel.
It's important, I think, to see what happens when the debate happens.
Oh, yes.
The debate is coming up
yeah.
here. And
not all of them made this debate stage, right?
No, in fact, some big names didn't make it. I'm thinking primarily Mike Pence, who didn't make it or hasn't made it yet. Donald Trump, he's qualified, but I don't think – it seems like
DeSantis
he may
will
not –
be there.
But it doesn't seem like Trump's going to participate.
Okay.
So that's crucial. Yeah, DeSantis, Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, and as Nathaniel Rakich just said, Vivek Ramaswamy. He in quite a surprise, has already qualified to be on that debate stage.
I heard a woman ask Ron DeSantis this question on the campaign trail very recently, and I, for the life of me, I cannot remember how he answered it. But I think this is so important for the candidates to start recognizing. And she said something to the effect of, without spending time cutting down other candidates in the field or pointing the finger at the other party or cut, insults, tell me what you stand for. Tell me what you stand for.
Great question.
Wouldn't that help so many of us if we just knew what they stood for instead of who they're against, what they represent for the economy, for education, for the crisis of housing that so many families are finding themselves in? I mean, what do you stand for? Just answer that question.
It's 11:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. 4 inmates have died since April at the Weber County Jail. The sheriff's office says there's no relation with those deaths to the arrest of a staffer for distributing drugs at the facility.
They're tragic medical events that have happened. Very well could have happened if they were at their home or if they were at Walmart,
Lieutenant Josh Maragoni says the jail often doesn't know about the medical conditions inmates have when they're booked in. There's an increased risk of flash flooding in all of Utah's national parks this week. The National Weather Service says flash floods are probable today and tomorrow. If you're planning on taking a trip to the parks, check in with visitors centers before you head out. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. France is beginning evacuations of its citizens from Niger amid political turmoil in its former colony. ABC's Ines de la Cuetara has more from the foreign desk.
The French Foreign Ministry saying France is planning to begin evacuating its citizens from Niger, writing in a brief statement, an evacuation is being prepared and that it will happen rapidly. This comes after a coup toppled the government last week, neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali, warning that any military intervention in Niger to restore President Mohamed Bazoum would be considered a declaration of war.
The United States,
ABC News.
The United States
foreign desk.
Also had military personnel in Niger supporting the civilian government there. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average up 20 points on the day right now. The NASDAQ, though, is down about 65. And our KSL weather. Looks like thunderstorms will be moving through Utah. That's next. KSL News Time, 11:32.
This summer, the political season heats up.
By August, it'll be time for debates. Can you believe it?
We're planning coverage of the real issues, the important stories that impact how we live.
Listen each morning from 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors to tell you about our 10-year everything guarantee. Most contractors spout off having great warranties that last forever. But those warranties are always, and I do mean always, riddled with loopholes, exception, fine print, and nonsense. At RGS Exteriors, we cover everything. Parts, labor, material, everything and anything for 10 full years. There's no cost to you whatsoever. No hoops to jump through, no exceptions. Yes, the products we sell, like James Hardie siding, our windows, gutter covers, come with a 25 to 50-year manufacturer's warranty, just like everybody else. But the truth is, the products almost never fail. It's always the labor and material which is never covered, so you're stuck paying for service calls. For peace of mind, call RGS Exteriors. You'll sleep easy for 10 full years. 801-280-3110 or visit us at rgsutah.com. That's 801-280-3110 or online rgsutah.com. Gutters, siding, windows, and all exteriors with the 10-year everything guarantee.
Here's a question. Do you wear dentures? At Grandpa's Dental, you can trade in your floppy dentures and get $2,000 towards an implant-supported solution. You know, they say the older you get, the more you need your teeth. Well, chewing your food isn't a luxury. And taking a bite out of a nice, juicy steak, well, it takes teeth. At Grandpa's Dental, they have over 10,000 restorations under their belt, and it's always affordable. When you walk into one of their 3 locations, you're family, period. At Grandpa's Dental, they live their family legacy by building lasting relationships through state-of-the-art services. So if you want to stop the flop and actually eat foods you can chew, trade in your dentures at Grandpa's Dental for $2,000 toward your implant solution. Schedule your free consultation at grandpasdental.com today. That's grandpasdental.com.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Granite Credit Union's High Yield Savings Certificates. Here's Ricky Meese.
It's a delay-free drive on all your Valley freeways, but we do have the final cleanup of a crash on the ramp from southbound I-15 in Murray to go to I-215 southbound in the westbound direction. Look for that to the right. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL weather, the high today of 92 will be the warmest of the coming week. Mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms this afternoon and tomorrow. Right now, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy at KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM, 1160 AM, and KSLNewsRadio.com. Your all-day companion for news.
Dave and Dujanovic.
I want to take you back to January to begin this conversation. You probably remember when this happened during Monday Night Football.
And that is Damar Hamlin, is the one who was in on that stop on T. Higgins. And then he got up and just went right back down to the ground.
Just chills hearing that. There's some good news in this. He returned to practice yesterday. I remember his heart stopped after he got hit in the chest. He took a hit in the chest during the game.
I get my most peace when I'm back here playing football and doing what I love. You know, the game of football and being back in it, you know, nothing really requires you to be at your best self and like operate at your highest level of yourself, you know, than this game, you know. Well, personally in my life, that's what it is.
And he's so young. And then last week, LeBron James's son, Bronny, goes down.
Bronny James, the oldest son of NBA superstar LeBron James, was hospitalized after going into cardiac arrest while participating in a practice at the University of Southern California, a family spokesman said Tuesday. A spokesman said USC medical staff treated the 18-year-old James on Monday at Galen Center and was transported to a hospital. The spokesman said James was in stable condition Tuesday after leaving the intensive care unit. James was one of the nation's top high school prospects and is an incoming freshman with the Trojans. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
He's 18 years old. Bronny is 18 years old. It's one of the most shocking things I think I've ever seen in sports. These elite level young athletes and their hearts stop. And this just happened a few months ago here in Utah.
A Utah State football player was taken to the hospital after a medical emergency at practice Thursday afternoon. USU broadcast student Noah Giles was there when the call went out for paramedics.
I was sitting in my class, and we have the police scanners in there, and we picked up something, and we heard someone had collapsed.
Utah State Aggie wide receiver Josh Davis collapsed at a spring practice in March. Training staff saved his life by giving him CPR on the field. Josh joins us right now. Josh, thank you for joining us. I got to get your reaction. What did you think when you heard Bronny James' heart had stopped at basketball practice?
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Yeah, it was I remember seeing the news, just scrolling on my phone. And my first thought was just like, wow, it's absolutely insane. Me being like just a fan of him and that whole family, it's kind of just surreal to see that, happen to someone like that who has such a big following. But super grateful he's doing okay now. I think I was seeing he's out of the hospital and doing okay. So super grateful for that.
Josh, I'm not familiar with what happened to you. Are you comfortable kind of walking us through that?
Yeah, for sure. So kind of the basics of what happened was at the end of March, we were kind of just getting into spring ball for football for Utah State. And it was regular day, one of our first practices of spring ball. We were just kind of going through pre-practice and warm-ups before we were going to really start practice. And then I don't really remember much from there. I guess I kind of piece it together from what people tell me happened. So I kind of walked over towards my trainer like something was kind of wrong and just collapsed there. But then, as you guys said, my trainers really did save my life. Mike, Kendra, and Brady, they were on me in seconds, had CPR going really quick and had the AED out super quick. And so, yeah, they saved my life and kind of held me up till more people showed up and ambulances showed up, and then they got me down to the hospital and kind of assessed the situation and got me in stable condition.
What was the recovery like for you? What has it been like?
So, yeah, I spent about a week or so in the hospital, kind of just recovering and making sure, everything was okay, and they were running a bunch of tests. And so once that kind of happened and was done, I was able to be released. And so I from there, I kind of just took it carefully as far as like getting back into my normal physical routine. So I kind of took that month or two to work slowly and kind of recovering my body and just starting to get back to what I could do normally.
Josh Davis live on the line with us right now, Utah State University football player, talking about what happened in the moments on the field earlier this year when his heart stopped. Is there something that caused it to stop, or do you know, Josh?
So yeah, we did a bunch of different tests when I was in the hospital that week, and I've had a few follow-ups. And we're still not exactly sure, what caused it. So I'm still planning on seeing some different like cardiac specialists to hopefully kind of do some more tests and keep trying to figure out exactly what happened. But yeah, as far as right now, it's kind of just an anomaly and not really too sure exactly.
Have you made a decision on what you're going to do with your athletic career?
Yes. So kind of all the doctors I've talked to recommended that I probably shouldn't be playing again just because kind of like that Damar Hamlin situation, an impact, especially because I've already had one, could, have me at risk for something again. So I'm unfortunately probably not going to be playing again.
How are you doing with that?
It's been tough, especially kind of first hearing that news and me just kind of getting into my college football career. It was pretty tough to hear that news, but I'm planning on still, being with the team this year and helping them out in any different way I can. So I think that's going to help a lot, still being around the team. So, yeah.
This is just, it's so unfortunate, Josh. I'm so sorry that you've had to go through this. It sounds like, though, from talking to you, you're doing well in terms of your health. Have you had any lingering side effects that have slowed you down at all?
Yeah, I feel great right now. I think it's been about 3 or 4 months now since it's happened, but I feel really great. I'm kind of pretty much back to what I would normally do physically as far as, just regular running and working out, that type of thing. And, yeah, just the support from coaches, teammates, family, friends, checking up on me, making sure I'm okay. It's been huge in my recovery. So, yeah, I feel great now. I'm feeling really good.
I don't know if I'm sure you've had the exact same feeling as I had. It's so strange. We're not just talking about good athletes, Deb. We're talking about elite level athletes, college level athletes, professional athletes that are suffering these heart attacks. Danny Berger from Utah State about a decade ago had the exact same thing happen, where he had a heart attack at a basketball practice, and training staff had to restart his heart. It's just shocking to me how often this happens, Josh. Have you learned anything over your experience of what may be causing these things?
Yeah, I actually had a chance to talk to Danny like a little while after mine happened. So that was really cool to kind of talk about his experience with him and meet up with him. So that was really cool. But yeah, from what I hear from doctors and kind of news people is that it's definitely being more publicized now in the past few years of all these young athletes kind of going down from this. And I haven't heard any sort of possible like reasoning to why they're happening, but it's definitely being more publicized. And it's just crazy. But the fact that we have such good trainers kind of throughout the country and all these different schools it's been really good that we've been able to, save the lives that we have.
Yeah, you were saying the AED was right there and that the trainers were right on you when this happened. And that must have been the difference right there.
100%. Yeah. For as far as, the longer the person's kind of down and there's no CPR or AED on site, as time goes on, the less of a chance that they have. So 100% that their speed and getting that on there and starting CPR 100% saved my life.
Wow, Josh.
You didn't have, it wasn't an
hero.
impact though, right? You didn't get hit like Damar Hamlin?
No, sir. Yeah. Damar's was kind of an impact and mine was kind of just out of nowhere.
Well,
but I think there's an importance of having the right equipment and the right people at the practice always. Josh, thank you for sharing your story with us. Keep in touch with us. We want to know how things go for you.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. We appreciate you telling your story. And Debbie, that's incredibly difficult for a kid that has spent his entire life with the hope and the dream of playing college football, and then to actually be given that opportunity and then to have this medical issue pop up. It does sound like he's not going to continue playing. He said it's been recommended that he doesn't continue his athletic career as a football player. So we wish you the best, Josh, but more than anything, we're grateful that you're doing well now. So best of luck.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Before Dave and Debbie get started each day, this station is all news all morning.
And later today, we follow up on those stories as you drive home.
Get important news all morning and all afternoon.
Here on KSL News Radio.
Losing weight is more than just a number on the scale. Boy, did I learn that. I started the SOTA weight loss program a year and a half ago. I lost 34 pounds. And yes, watching the number on the scale go down was really great. But they helped me with a lot of other things, like why did I binge eat? Why did I used to sit down and not be able to stop if I started eating Wheat Thins? I'd eat the whole box of Wheat Thins. Why did I do that? And because ultimately, you're only going to be healthy if you can change the way you look at food. Your relationship with food has to change.
Yeah.
And SOTA weight loss helps you with the whole picture to help you get healthy.
Well, and heaven knows we need all the help we can get at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But mental clarity and focus also becomes important for that weight loss journey. My daughter lost 42 pounds, and she's now in the maintenance phase, which simply means that she checks in with her nutritionist every couple of weeks just to make sure she's on track. They can help you or somebody in your family as well. Go to SOTAweightloss.com. It's spelled SOTA, stands for state of the art. Think Tim and Amanda. SOTAweightloss.com.
On Tuesday, August 22nd, the Orangey Hatch Foundation will present Senate Leader Mitch McConnell and Secretary Elaine Chao with the Titan of Public Service Award at the Grand America Hotel in Salt Lake City. You're invited to join Senator McConnell and Secretary Chao as tribute is paid for their decades of public service to our country. Reserve your tickets today for dinner and a musical performance by Elizabeth Smart at this special event at orrinhatchfoundation.org. That's ORRIN hatchfoundation.org.
When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. 4 locations: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Ford Truck Country. All dedicated to delivering you the best auto experience anywhere. Looking for your first car? Maybe you want rugged power or the stylish ride of your dreams. New or used. See it all at PerformanceBountiful.com. PerformanceBountiful.com.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Since 1914, Utah Paper Box has been a staple in the Salt Lake Valley. Over the years, this packaging factory has learned how to provide its services from design, pre-press, and printing to die cutting, stamping, and finishing in an eco-friendlier way. CEO Steve Kaiser tells us more.
At Utah Paper Box, our mission is to be a valuable resource for our customers through creative and innovative packaging, and also a responsible steward of our environment, community, and employees. We pride ourselves on being a small business that can provide high-quality, eye-catching, custom packaging for both small local startups and large national brands such as Smith Optics and Casper's Ice Cream. What's more, we have committed to doing so sustainably. At Utah Paper Box, sustainability is one of our 6 core values. We have worked hard to become a sustainable and eco-friendly company and are proud to be a leader in our industry for environmental causes. We source from sustainable forests and divert 90% of our waste from landfills. Our headquarters is LEED Gold certified, and 20% of the power comes from solar energy. Not only that, but our first electric semi-truck is arriving this fall, first of its kind in the state. Come check us out at upbslc.com.
Utah Paperbox is committed to exceeding customer expectations, providing top quality paper products, and caring about our environment. See what this local packaging supplier can do for you. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
With the three things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, 4 inmates have died in the Weber County Jail in recent months, 2 in just the past 10 days. Second, there's a risk of flash flooding in southern Utah today as thunderstorms move across the state. Third, France is evacuating its citizens from Niger after a military coup. The United States has also had military personnel in that country. Right now, 81 degrees, mostly cloudy in Salt Lake City. Back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
It is the story that captivated most of the nation last week. There was a dog that was stolen. The little dog's name is Rio. And this is just a wild story. Of course, it begins up kind of by Dave's house.
Right? My neck of the woods.
Your neck of the woods, Dave, in Clearfield. His owner is basically like assaulted, has her car keys stolen, gets her car stolen, and little Rio is in the car. And so the alleged thief takes off with Rio, and then the hunt was on. More for Rio, I think, than for the car.
The dog that has captured the love and the attention of the nation. How's Rio doing?
Dee Thorell on the line with us. You got Rio back this weekend. Walk us? Let's start at the beginning. How did this happen, Dee? We're really glad Rio's back, and we'll get to how that all went down this weekend for you when you actually found Rio. But take us to the beginning. What happened?
What happened at the Maverick store?
Yeah, let's start there.
Okay. I pulled into the Maverick store and decided to get a soda, and I left Rio in his booster seat in the back seat of my car. He's a little Shih Tzu, and I grabbed my key and put it in my right-hand pocket. I grabbed my wallet and my cell phone in my left hand and my drink cup to refill in my right hand, and left the car running, left him in there, and didn't think much of it, truthfully. But as I walked into the store and towards the soda bar, I felt somebody reach into my right-hand pocket and grab my key, and I turned around. It was a short lady with long red hair, and I said, You took my key. And she said, No, I didn't. And she turned around and walked briskly from the store. So I went after her, and she got into my car. I went over there and I said, My dog's in the back seat. My dog's in the back seat. And I grabbed her hair, her red hair, long red hair in my right hand. I grabbed her inside shoulder in my left hand, and I tried to yank her out of my car. She kind of had a death grip on the steering wheel, and she didn't go very far. And about the same time, she put the car in reverse and slammed on the gas and backed up, just squealed rubber, backed up, and knocked me to the ground. That's when I got injured. And she took off going east. So that's how it was when he was stolen. And of course, that was my only concern, exactly what you said. I could have cared less about the car, my dog. Yeah, so he was gone for 6 nights.
No idea where he was.
6 long nights. And certainly towards the end of it, we were pretty concerned because there was so much media attention, and I thought, how could anybody not know? And knowing this woman's history, I certainly had concerns for his well-being. So that's pretty much That's
how it
story.
started.
That's
Okay.
terrible.
Yes.
That's horrible.
So
And
where
that-
does it
yeah.
turn and get happy?
So I woke up the morning we found him and had something just telling me that I needed to go down where my car was found. My car had been since towed, and my car wasn't there. And my son-in-law had been down there several times. My daughter had been down there hanging posters. There was absolutely no reason for me to want to go down there. Certainly could have used my time more productively elsewhere, but something was pulling me there. So my significant other said, "What do you want to do today?" And I said, "I want to go down and look around where my car was stolen." He said, "Let's go." And we did. My son-in-law actually came down as well because he knew the area. He'd been down there looking for Rio and not knowing whether Rio had been in the car when the car was crashed or not. Yeah. So we didn't know that whole week if he was safe or if he was, in trouble. But anyway, I had noticed as we were straightening some flyers and adding some new flyers to the area, and I had noticed a tent kind of back behind a ways away and in under the shade of a tree, and didn't think too much of it. So we'd finished our business and we were walking towards the cars, and man, something just stopped me in my tracks and said, "You need to go back to that tent." And I don't know, I call it a spiritual experience. I call it a God thing. I'm not a particularly religious person, but I am Christian, and
The universe was drawing you back to that tent. It sounds like. And did you not? What did you do? Like knock on? I mean, was it
all of those prayers?
Was it a homeless? Was it a tent that was occupied by people who are homeless?
Yes, but very nice man named John. I handed him a flyer and said, "Just wanted to check and see if you've seen this dog." Certainly not with the expectation that he had. And he looked up at me and he said, "Yeah, I saw him a few days ago. He's with a friend of mine at the homeless camp a couple miles from here." And
wow.
I said, "Seriously?" You never know. And he said yes. So I asked him how to get there, and he started to tell me, and I said, I'll never remember all of that. It was very complicated. So he started drawing a map, and I said, "I don't do maps." So my son-in-law came over and said, "Hey, would you hop in my car with me and just direct us over there?" And which he did. And Jeremy, my son-in-law, and the homeless man that helped us, John, went down to the camper where John had last seen Rio. Jeremy called Rio, and Rio came running, wagging his big tail, and Jeremy brought him down to me, and it was a grand reunion. Certainly not Little America, but homeless camps are sad places.
Where was this? Was this along in Salt Lake County somewhere?
Yes, it was Redwood Road, around Redwood Road and 200 South, I think, around in that area. I'm not exactly sure.
But you found him.
But we found him, and yes, and John collected. John was the person that took us to Rio, and he collected the $2,500 reward we had, and I was so grateful that he could have that money because I'm certain it's going to make a difference in his life.
Wow.
What a surprising story. What a captivating and terrifying story with an amazing ending. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Dee Thorell, Rio's owner, or maybe you're, Rio's mom. It's a great story. Thanks, Dee.
Mom's a better word.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave and Deb.
Oh,
you guys are
thank you,
awesome.
Dee. We appreciate it. That's an incredible story. I mean, dog moms are always mama bears.
Yeah.
And good for you for sticking
I
with
love
them. Following your senses.
He just shouts out the name, just calls for Rio, and Rio's like, "Oh, I know that name. I know that. That's me."
I'm just thinking about what was happening in that parking lot at the gas station when she just went in to get a soda and then comes out and ends up getting assaulted and thrown to the ground by, as a woman allegedly speeding away. I mean, we're going to, I mean, it's
And Dee's
she
in her
gets hurt.
70s,
Yeah.
and she was fighting for Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah, she paid the price. I think she broke her arm.